What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
1LF. Chapter 1. The Fire Demon of the Sphinx. New World. Sphinx. This is an island where birds and flowers are fragrant and the seasons are like spring. On this island, there is only one small village. In New World, such islands can be said to be numerous. The Sphinx has a specialty. This island has many monsters of abnormal size, and these monsters can be sold for a good price when they are sold outside. Because of this, the Sphinx, who had no money to pay the heavenly gold to the world government, started his own nightmare experience. Countless pirates have set their sights on this island. Roar. The terrifying roar resounded, and the scorching heat wave turned into a phantom like a roaring fire dragon, although it disappeared in an instant. But this scorching heat has already fallen on the sea in front of him. Stab. Stab. The scorching heat was churning, accompanied by the rising water vapor. In an instant, the boiling water vapor turned into a steam dragon, and slammed down again. It feels pretty good. The magic of fire and the power of the dragon spell are really scary enough. A young man's voice came from the water vapor, and the next moment, a young man wearing trousers, naked upper body, and showing perfect muscles walked out step by step. This young man seemed to be only 10. How old is it? Exactly. Edward Allen. He is only 10 years old this year, but he looks like a boy of 15 or 16. System. Open my panel. Name. Edward Allen. Template. Demon of Fire Holy Lord 15%. Magic. The magic of fire. 12 charms. Dragon charm. Ghost mask. Inactive. 8 demons. Not activated. 9 ghosts general. Inactive. Hockey. Conqueror's Hockey, Junior, Armament Hockey, Junior, Observation Hockey, Junior. Looking at the panel in front of him, Allen pondered. Activating the dragon spell only activates the template inheritance of the Holy Master by 5%, it seems. The main power of the Holy Master is the power of the 12 spells. That's right. Edward Allen is a transmigrator plus rebirth. 10 years ago, Allen's soul crossed into this world and was reborn into a woman's body. After birth, his mother in his whole life had died. And I was born to activate the X-Dragon Adventure system. It mainly contains the 8 demons and ghost masks, and the first template activated by himself is the template of the Holy Master. Only. Want to activate the template, or upgrade the template, the consumption turned out to be devil fruit. Allen even wanted to scold his mother directly. If he hadn't obtained the dragon talisman directly when activating the Holy Master template, this template would be like nonsense. After all, I'm a newborn kid, where can I get devil fruit? All in all, the advantage is that while Allen inherits the template of the Holy Master, he also inherits the physique of the Holy Master. He has already achieved a terrifying improvement at a young age. Some time ago, I just got 2 devil fruits. After absorbing them, they directly activated the magic energy of fire, which is the original magic energy of the Holy Master. Pity. Compared with the activation brought by the 12 spells, it is completely incomparable. The activation degree brought by the dragon spell is 10%, and what about the magic of fire? It's only 5%, it's simply a big spectrum. However, recalling these things, Allen clenched his fists and said with sharp eyes, all in all, it's quite good. With the combination of the dragon charm and the magic of fire, his own strength has also been improved again. Woo. Taking out a cigarette from his pocket, Allen flicked his fingers, and a pinch of flame was already burning at the tip of his finger, and he exhaled a thick puff of smoke comfortably. Allen squinted his eyes comfortably. After a while, he opened his eyes and said sharply, the next step is daily training. In this dangerous sea, improving your strength is the most important thing. Return to the forest from the sea. Soon, a small, but very delicate cabin appeared, and in front of the cabin was a large number of training equipment built by individuals. Here we go. Allen then started very serious daily training. Whether it's physical training, combat skills training, or all in all, Allen's training method makes people feel terrified when they look at it. It is quite terrifying. Fortunately, the template inherited by Allen is the template of the Holy Master. As the blood of a dragon, its resilience and endurance are quite terrifying. After all, in this world of dangerous pirates, only strength is the most important thing. No matter what era, only strength can make others feel safest. 99,981. 99,982. Allen carried a huge load like a hill and continued to train. The blue veins on his forehead burst out one by one, the muscles on his body were covered with sweat, and every inch of the muscles seemed to be shaking. But Allen didn't let up at all. Those scarlet red vertical pupils were like snakes, filled with only firmness, and his golden hair was already wet with sweat. 4 emperors, 7 warlords of the sea, marine, world government, as well as that mysterious I am. Woo. Allen murmured the names one by one, but his eyes became sharper and firmer. If you want to become the master of this world, then everything is meaningless, only power. And only invincible power can let you truly control your own destiny. And Alan knew that there were no shortcuts to gaining power, even if he had this 3-0 system. Only with stronger power could he obtain more devil fruit to activate more templates. This is an iterative process, and your own efforts are inevitable. P.S. The new book is uploaded 10 times on the first day. The first. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 2. Whitebeard. That's Laozi, brother. 100,000. Ha, ha. After the final push-up with weights, Alan's veins bulged and he was gasping for breath. But, just take a 5-minute break before moving on to the next workout. Every workout is very rigorous, not just physical fitness. Skill. Develop. There is also hockey's training. Worth to talk about. 3 months ago, Alan killed 2 pirates who had some ideas, and then learned the training method of 2-color hockey from their mouths. As for Conqueror's hockey, this one has nothing to say. With the template of the Devil on Fire, the Holy Master, he was born with the awakening of Conqueror's hockey. As one of the 8 great demons that rule 1/8 of the world, isn't this a matter of course? Training starts at 8 o'clock in the morning and ends at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when Alan's training is just over. The whole body twitched and lay on the ground. It was even said that the muscles on his body were opened with wounds, which means that Alan's training has exceeded the limit that the muscles can bear. Of course, such cracked muscles are recovering rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. Don't think that the template of the Lord brings 12 spells and the magic of fire, the power of the dragon, the resilience of the dragon, the defense of the dragon, and many other things. These invisible bloodline blessings are also very terrifying. Big brother, why are you doing this again? The training here just ended, and came back from the forest, a little fat man, wearing tattered clothes, with a black scarf on his head, holding a small naginata made of wood and a dagger, and he came over helplessly. Stinky boy. Alan struggled to get up, sat cross-legged on the ground, lit a cigarette, and scolded. You still know how to come back. Really? Let you go out to buy supplies, you run out for a day. Goo la la la. The little fat man smiled and scratched his head. Listening to this familiar laughter, in fact, already knew the identity of the other party. The strongest man in the future world, one of the future 4 emperors, one of the 3 legendary pirates in the future, the man who went out to sea just to find a family, the man who died in Marineford for his son. Whitebeard Edward Newgate. Now Newgate is just a 10-year-old kid. That's right. That's right. From Alan's surname, we already know it. Alan was born, not only himself, but also his mother in his life gave birth to a younger brother. After all, he was considered a twin, but there was a difference of about 7 or 8 days in the middle. Newgate is his younger brother, the legendary man in the future, now just a stinky brat. Tell me, Alan asked in a puff of smoke, how was the fight? Goo la la la. Newgate mentioned this and said confidently, Big brother. Just those little brats, I let them have a hand, and they are not my opponents. Stinky boy. Alan shook his head with a smile, and stopped discussing this matter, said, Go, bring the supplies you bought, and then you go to exercise for me, stinky boy. I don't know what's going on. I see. Big brother. Newgate nodded earnestly, then went to the woods, carried a large bag of supplies and put it in the cabin, and then started training. Of course, although Newgate is said to be a monster who will be called the strongest man in the world in the future, but that is the future, and now he is just a kid. He is gifted and talented. Penultimate is definitely needless to say. But compared to the dragon bloodline of Alan, the fire demon, it is definitely incomparable. Because of this, Newgate's training is much easier than Alan's. Even so, after the 5 hours of training, it was already dark, and Newgate was so tired that he could barely get up. Stinky boy, is this not going to work? Alan half squatted on the ground, looked at Newgate mockingly, and said, Laozi's training is 10 times yours, and he doesn't look like you. Newgate muttered weakly. Brother, not everyone is a pervert like you, can't compare. Can't compare. Can't compare to you at all. Stinky boy, what are you talking about? Nothing to say. Ha ha ha. Seeing Newgate's naive look, Alan burst out laughing, so he said, Okay. It's okay. Hurry up and get some rest and eat. Brother, what are you eating? Eat barbecue. Eating barbecue again. Otherwise, will you cook, or will I cook? Listening to Alan's complaints, Newgate obediently shut up, or don't say anything, it's not easy for the Sphinx to eat meat like this. If it weren't for the fact that his eldest brother was so powerful that he could hunt the beasts on the island in the top, and catch the sea kings in the sea, it would be extremely difficult to eat meat. How to say? Monsters are monsters. Newgate is still very talented. After such a severe consumption, it only took half an hour to recover and he was able to walk. Big brother. Newgate sat down in front of the fire, nibbling on his huge thighs, and asked, When are we going to sea? What's wrong? Alan tore down the meat and asked, Why are you planning to go to sea? Newgate scratched his head, and then said, I want to go out to sea to find our family and form our family. Goo la la la. Looking at Newgate who was smiling, Alan didn't expect that Newgate would still have such an idea. But, after thinking about it for a while, it is indeed the case. I have no parents since I was a child, only myself as a big brother. Although Newgate has a family, he still wants to have a more complete family. Well, then, let's get ready to go to sea. Alan agreed with Newgate's idea. P.S. The new book is uploaded, 10 times on the first day. Second more. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 3, Pirate Invasion. Roaring Demon Dragon. Ha ha ha, Sphinx. Bros. You're welcome. Burn, kill and snatch. After finishing this ticket, let's go to Happy Street and have a good time. Roar. In the port of the Sphinx, a deafening roar had already sounded. For Sphinx, a country that has no ability to pay the gold in the sky and has been destroyed by pirates, leaving only a small village. Once again ushered in a new pirate attack. Kill. Under the command of the captain, a large number of pirates directly entered the small village, burning, killing and looting. Even if there was no wealth left, they were still crazy to snatch everything that was left. Who? A pirate hacked the man in front of him to death, spit out a mouthful, and said disdainfully, "Really TM is a poor ghost, boss. Can we go to Happy Street in such a poor place?" Snapped. The captain slapped the pirate's head with a slap, took a cigar and let out a puff of smoke, and said, "Are you an idiot? What kind of oil and water do these people have in this poor place of Sphinx? What is really precious is the Sphinx. The flesh, bones, and internal organs of these giant beasts are good things, and these things are quite expensive in the underground world." Yes, yes. The pirates were immediately excited and roared, "Brothers! Get rid of these rubbish poor ghosts, let's go hunting for giant beasts." Roar. These pirates have become more and more crazy, and the entire Sphinx has fallen into the collapse of the burning and looting. Alan sensed something and sniffed his nose slightly. Although his observation hockey was not outstanding, he inherited the blood of a dragon, and there was no doubt about his keen 5 senses. "Brother, what's wrong?" Newgate clenched the flesh in his hand and asked strangely when he saw Alan's appearance. Alan stood up and said grimly, "Stinky boy, we have a boat to go out to sea, and there are pirates coming." "There's another pirate coming. Goo la la la." Newgate clenched his little naginata, stood up and smiled excitedly. "Just right, last time it was a bunch of rubbish, big brother. This time, I'm going to try my strength." The corners of Alan's mouth grinned, and he said grimly, "Let's go, Laozi also wants to see these pirates, the efficiency is very fast." But, without waiting for the two brothers to leave, 4 pirates suddenly rushed in from the other side of the forest. Ha ha ha, it turned out to be 2 little cubs. Kill them. The 4 pirates rushed over directly, while Newgate took the small naginata sword and strode forward to meet him. "Little devil, can you use a knife? You are still." It's a pity that he hasn't finished speaking yet. The next moment, his chest is straight and Newgate penetrates. "Goo la la la." Newgate laughed majestically. "Brother said it. Be firm and ruthless. Never show mercy." Talking. Newgate made a drastic move and killed 4 pirates one after another. It was not at the same level at all. Don't look at Newgate's only 10 years old, but under the training of Alan, it was too much to kill such 4 scumbags. Too easy. Next. He. The corners of Alan's mouth grinned open, the vertical pupils of his eyes flashed with crimson light, and scorching flames burst out all over his body, step by step toward the only remaining village of the Sphinx. Newgate quickly followed. Big brother figure. Kill. This girl is so good. Oh who. Roar. At this moment, with the roar like a beast, the monstrous flames have already fallen, and it seems to be swallowing everything in an instant. Boom. A small mushroom cloud rose in an instant. Alan stepped on the flames and walked out, and said hideously, Hey, are you guys here to deliver the boat to Laozi?" The pirates were stunned. They stared at Alan's figure full of tyrannical murderous aura, and they didn't know what to do for a while. "Little ones, just a little devil. Kill this kid. It's just a demon fruit power, aren't you afraid?" Roar. In response to the captain was a deafening roar. These pirates rushed over again like ghosts, and they went straight to Alan. Scanning everyone one by one, Alan was keenly aware that there were at least 500 of these pirates. So, hunting time. Here we go. Alan stepped on the ground, and the whole person disappeared in an instant. The tyrannical figure was like a roaring angry dragon, and disappeared in place in an instant, and when it reappeared, it had already appeared in a pirate's place. Around. Bump. A hand pressed his head directly on the ground, and in an instant, a sound like a watermelon bursting sounded. Turning around, Alan opened his mouth and a scorching flame shock wave burst out. What? With the terrifying wailing sound, a large number of pirates were instantly burned by the flame shock wave and turned into ashes directly. Humph. Wiping the corners of his mouth, Alan turned around and said cruelly, "You are too weak, aren't you? Laozi hasn't had enough fun yet. By the way, you are the captain, don't know how strong you are." This moment, the sharp scarlet vertical pupils stared at the captain. Alan was like a giant dragon hunting, making the pirate captain feel that his whole body muscles were beginning to twist. Superior. Superior. You guys F*K Laozi, he's just a mere brat, kill him. Hunting. Start. The pirate captain roared hysterically, while Alan opened his hands, and the flames covered him. The whole person was like a rampant tyrannosaurus heading straight for the pirate captain. All the pirates who dared to block in front of their eyes will be directly torn by itself. P.S. The new book is uploaded, 10 times on the first day. The third one. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. P.S. Brothers, stormy pirates, beg for a wave of flowers, rewards, evaluations, and monthly ticket support. Add more, add more, add more. P.S. The new book adds more rules. 3,000 flowers plus a new chapter. 50 floors plus an updated chapter. 1,000 evaluation votes plus one more chapter. 30 monthly passes plus one more chapter. A total of 3 people have rewarded and added a new chapter. All in all, brothers, as long as the data is enough, the little stone will be added to death. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 4. See Circle Calendar 1458, Brother Edward goes to sea. Tick-tock, tick-tock. The blood dripped. Alan held the head of the pirate captain with one hand, lifted him up, and asked cruelly, Hey. Hey, Laozi wants to ask you, rubbish like you can sail in the new world. Yet. Wow. Drops of blood dripped from Captain Pirate's body, and the whole person showed irregular distortions, just like a rag doll. At a glance, you know that the bones on the body are at least broken. Cough, cough, cough. Coughing weakly, he opened his eyes with difficulty, as if he wanted to answer something, but in the end, he didn't say a word. It's boring. Alan waved his hand boredly, and a scorching flame burst out from his palm, instantly burning the pirate captain to the ground. Fighting. The duration is short, and Alan has already dealt with this unknown pirate group. Of course, in this battle, Newgate also contributed a little. As a 10-year-old kid, Newgate's strength is also good. Big brother. Newgate walked over quickly, shook his head and said, the entire Sphinx. What? Before Alan finished listening, he nodded and said, pack up, we are also ready to go to sea. I see. Big brother. Newgate nodded silently. Sphinx. Even though, for the Edward brothers, there are almost no special feelings, at least there is no emotional connection with these people, but after all, they are all people in the same place. But now, everyone has completely disappeared. For the two brothers, the memories of the past 10 years from childhood to adulthood are only the last island left. Alan and Newgate organize their things. Soon. It has already been moved to this pirate ship. Big brother. Newgate pointed to the pirate flag and said, should we tear this off? Alan shrugged and said, no need. With our strength, we are not qualified to form a pirate group of our own. Let's set sail directly. That, big brother, can you drive a boat? Cannot you do it? Quote. Alan, Newgate, the two brothers looked at each other and fell into silence by coincidence. How to say, even though the boat was in front of them, but the two brothers suddenly realized that the two of them could not sail at all. That, Newgate couldn't help but said, brother, are we staying alive? Shut up. Alan rolled his eyes and said, the current Sphinx, apart from you and me, probably has no breathing human beings. Basically, they're all dead. What about this? Newgate scratched his head, feeling very helpless. Alan also rubbed his chin and said, otherwise, we will just fly with the wind. The corner of Newgate's mouth twitched. Brother, you really have an idea, do you know that we may starve to death because there is no food? Alan spread his hands and said, so, what can you do? No. Newgate also had his hands spread out and rotted directly. Quote. The two brothers were silent again. Seriously. For the Edward brothers living in the Sphinx, it is very difficult for them to live. From childhood to adulthood, the two brothers are working hard to improve themselves. Except for improving their strength and surviving, they don't care about everything else, so it goes without saying that they can't do anything except fight. Looking around. It can't be a pirate ship that can accommodate 500 people, can it have nothing? 2. Alan and Newgate began to rummage through the entire pirate ship. Not to mention, after a careful search, except for gold and silver treasures, which were standard for pirates. Nautical charts, permanent pointers, in general, are basically there. After all, this is sailing on the sea, but it is a very standard thing. If you don't have this, will you still be alive? But the problem is, the brothers Alan and Newgate don't understand at all. With a nautical chart in his left hand and a permanent pointer in his right, Newgate raised his head and asked, brother, can you understand? Alan rolled his eyes, lit a cigarette, and said directly, if Laozi can understand, don't we just set sail? Are you still talking so much nonsense here? Then how? No way. Drift. The two brothers sighed helplessly. In the end, there was no way to choose rafting. After preparing a large amount of food, the brothers pulled the anchor, Yong Fan, and set sail. As for the destination, feel sorry, do not know. Anyway, this pair of brothers has already made up their minds, fluttering with the wind, no matter where the destination is, as long as they reach the next destination, they will also arrest a navigator, otherwise, if this continues, the ghost knows what the future results will be. Sample. Stinky boy, are you sure there's no problem here? Big brother. The ghost knows. There is such a big storm over there, we can't rush through it. I think the permanent pointer seems to be off. Ghost knows. Alan and Newgate are complaining about each other, and the Edward brothers really don't understand what these things are in front of them. Obviously I can understand it, but why is it so troublesome to get started? All, in short, Alan believer, Luffy can drive the wine barrel to the sea without any problem, do you just recite it? Have this belief. See Circle Calendar 1458. Edward brothers, who are only 10 years old. Edward Allen, Edward Newgate. The two brothers have gone to sea, as for the future voyage. Who knows? But what is certain is that the Edward brothers are destined to make waves on this ocean. Add a different color to this era that is about to run wild, and even lead this runaway era. P.S. The new book is uploaded, 10 times on the first day. Fourth more. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge, event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 5. They are demon brothers. Brother Edward. Damn bastard, you stand in Laozi's way. What? Are you looking for death? Believe it or not, Laozi killed you. Come on, little ones, kill the bastards in front of me. Brothers, come on, kill. Two pirate ships met unexpectedly, and the war broke out in an instant. As for the reason, in fact, it was just a simple rant. But, above this sea, such a thing is the most normal thing, even to say, this is a matter of course for this sea. New World. As the most chaotic sea area in the world, this kind of thing happens almost all the time. This is an era where the strong stay strong and the weak stay weak. This is New World. Boom, boom. The roar of artillery fire exploded, and the battle between the two sides has become more and more intense, completely falling into the white-hot stage. Just then, wow, with the sound of the waves churning, a ship was slowly sailing from afar, as if it didn't care about the battle that took place here at all, but just sailed upright, and a picture did not put the two pirates at all in the eyes of the meaning. Big brother. There are pirates fighting up ahead. Fight up, fight up. What does it have to do with Laozi? Two people with blonde hair were chatting casually. A look of no fear at all. Quote. Watching the ships coming straight, the battle between the pirates on both sides stopped involuntarily, and the anger of the two captains burned instantly. Asshole. Court death. How dare you put Laozi in your eyes? Bros. Come on for me. Yes. The two captains gave orders in a rage. In an instant, the hooks and locks were connected to the ship, and a large number of pirates stepped on the hooks and went straight to the ship. A large number of pirates boarded the ship. One of the pirates licked the dagger in his hand, and said savagely, "It turned out to be two little devils. Just admit that you are unlucky. Who made you provoke the captain? Brothers, right?" Quote. The pirates' roar didn't get a response at all, and the familiar laughter seemed to disappear. For a while, this pirate has a feeling of astonishment, not knowing what happened. He turned his head differently, and the brothers behind him were all shivering, and drops of cold sweat were already pouring out of their foreheads, as if they were experiencing some horrible pain. Humph. The blonde-haired young man lying on the reclining chair had already sat up, holding a cigarette, and the pupils in his eyes turned out to be crimson vertical pupils like beasts. The corners of his mouth grinned, and he said savagely, "Laozi, I haven't heard such a word in a long time, bastard. Are you planning to attack Laozi?" Goo la la la. Another tall figure sat cross-legged on the ground and also stood up. The height of nearly 7 meters looked very terrifying, like a monster. Demon. They are demon brothers. F*K. They are the demon brothers who are resounding through the new world, Brother Edward. Damn it. How did you provoke these two monsters? We didn't provoke you, it has nothing to do with us. All the pirates were fried in an instant, as if they were crazy. That's right. The brothers are the Allen and Newgate brothers. See Circle Calendar 1466. It has been exactly 8 years since the brothers went to sea in 1458. The two brothers, who are now 18 years old, have had a very terrifying increase in their strength. More than that, real or fake? Real or fake? One of the pirates took out 2 bounty orders, and after careful comparison, he said in shock, "They are Edward Allen and Edward Newgate's Edward brothers. Those terrifying devil brothers." Quote. The atmosphere became silent in an instant, and 2 bounty orders fell to the ground. One was Allen who was burning with flames, and the other was Newgate who was striding with a naginata. Edward Allen. Bounty. 579 million Baileys. Those who are suspected of Logia Mera Mera fruit ability, remember. Remember. This man is extremely dangerous. Edward Newgate. Bounty. 410 million Bailey. A monster with terrifying strength, good at using Naginata, remember. Remember. This man is extremely dangerous. This man is extremely dangerous. He. Alan smiled cruelly. What's there to be afraid of? You were so arrogant just now. Laozi is really looking forward to it. Come on, kill Laozi. You can live, otherwise, Laozi will not all kill you politely. Quote. Kill. Brothers, kill, otherwise, you won't be able to live. Kill. A large number of pirates came straight to Brother Edward in an instant, and the pirate who just shouted back step by step, secretly muttering, kill. Just kidding. Facing such a monster, how could it be possible to win? Quote. Run away. Before he finished speaking, a tall figure appeared in front of him, with a white crescent-shaped beard and long golden hair. Newgate held a huge Naginata sword and said hideously, Hey, this is war. Are you going to run away? What? Help. Pity. His roar was meaningless, and the huge Naginata directly took his life. The other side. Roar. The scorching electric eyes burst out, and the monstrous shock wave spit out from his mouth. Alan easily harvested the lives of all the pirates, and in this monstrous flame, Alan walked out calmly. The two brothers looked at each other, and Kakuzu opened a hideous smile, and invariably set his eyes on the two pirate ships not far away. P.S. The new book is uploaded, 10 times on the first day. 5th. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge, event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 6. The Gold, Silver and Bronze Pirates with a total bounty of over 2 billion. Cough. One of the captains of the two pirate regiments had been directly beheaded, while the other fell to the ground, coughing violently. The internal organs were mixed with blood and coughed out uncontrollably. He lay weakly on the ground and whispered, Devil, you can't do it to me, you can't do it to me, our black iron pirates belong to the gold, silver and bronze pirates, you can't do it to me. I'll do it. What? Next moment, he screamed terribly. Alan has broken one of his bones with one foot, put his hands in his pockets condescendingly, and said interestingly, Gold, silver and bronze pirates. If Laozi remembers correctly, this pirate group seems to have a total bounty of more than 2 billion Baileys. Yes. The captain nodded hurriedly, and said arrogantly, Do you know what you're afraid of now? It's too late. It's useless at all, you guy, you should. What? With another shrill scream, Alan smashed his other thigh bone with one foot, and said with a ferocious mouth, Are you threatening Laozi? No. The captain shook his head in fear. He had found out that this man was a terrifying lunatic, just like his nickname. Demon. This man is a real devil. Woo. Breathing out a puff of smoke, Alan seemed to have thought of something, and said interestingly, Chopsticks, call Laozi. Go. Notify your captain through the phone bug, Laozi would like to see if they dare to come. Madman. You are a lunatic. Hurry up. Yes. Under Alan's compulsion, the captain dialed the phone bug. Blue. What's wrong? Captain Copper Hammer. Help me. What happened? Listening to the wailing of his subordinates, on the other end of the phone bug, the pirate raised his eyebrows. Alan answered the phone bug at this time, and said interestingly, You are the third character of the gold, silver and bronze pirates, Bronze Hammer, right? Laozi is called Edward Allen, by the way. The whole head of your hand is in Laozi. If you are not satisfied, Laozi is here waiting for you. Ha. Correct. If you are late, this guy may be fed the fish. With this hideous laughter, the phone bug has been hung up, and the Copper Hammer's face is ashen. He never imagined that the three of his brothers were threatened. Brother Edward. Very good. Just two little devils, they dare to provoke Laozi's head. Bronze Hammer's eyes flashed with terrifying killing intent, and after a short period of time, a huge pirate group with a total bounty of more than 2 billion Baileys, gold, silver and bronze, had already been killed. More than that, the three gold, silver and bronze brothers also contacted their eldest brother. All right. Next. Alan looked at the half-dead. Full of fear, the captain rubbed his chin and said, In general, it's better that you don't die, after all. If you die, they won't pass the life card, but can't find it. What? The captain let out a painful wailing sound again, and Alan breathed out flames and forcibly stopped the bleeding. Next, Alan skillfully tied him up and then threw it out as a fishing bait. Big brother. Newgate strode forward and said disdainfully, Two pirate groups that are like garbage, add up to tens of millions of Baileys, it's really shameful, but... Brother, why did you keep this guy behind? Already. Obviously. Newgate also saw the captain who was used as bait, and felt strange. He knew his elder brother very well, and he had no mercy, and he was always a ruthless master. Alan sat down on the side of the boat cross-legged, while fishing, and said, The big brother behind this guy is the gold, silver and bronze pirates, Laozi just called someone, don't kill them, otherwise, there will be no life card, people I can't find it. Newgate raised his eyebrows and thought about it. Gold, silver and bronze pirates. is that the pirate group with a total bounty of more than 2 billion Bailey, and it is said that there are other strong people behind it. Alan nodded and said, it's this pirate group. Laozi is very interested in this pirate group. Their strength is very strong. The total bounty of 2 billion is only for the 3 captains, not including others. The members of, if nothing else happens, they will be good opponents. Goo la la la. Newgate laughed confidently. It is estimated that he is very rich. Alan shrugged and said, anyway, cut off their heads, and then find someone to collect the bounty. Newgate agrees. That's right. It's not the first time Alan and Newgate have done this kind of shit, these brothers. That's for the sake of money, nothing else. The brothers want to build a most luxurious pirate ship of their own. Sphinx. Their hometown has gradually become indifferent, everything that once was has disappeared, and the island has become a peaceful island. Alan and Newgate are not planning to return to the Sphinx, but are planning to build a family of their own and others. Of course, this is more of Newgate's idea, and Alan's idea is very simple. Laozi wants to become the strongest in the world. Laozi wants to stand on the highest scenery in the world. Laozi wants to form the strongest pirate group in the world. As a traveler, Alan not only inherited the template of the Holy Master. It also inherited the ambition of the Holy Master. If you want to become the strongest, you must stand on the top of the world, and your pirate group must stand on the top of the world. This is Alan's ambition, and Newgate wants to start his own family. The two brothers are making money like this. P.S. The new book is uploaded 10 times on the first day. 6th. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 7. 3 Great Spells. It's finally here. Name. Edward Allen. Template. Demon of Fire Holy Lord 35%. Magic. The Magic of Fire. 12 charms. Sheep Charm. Dragon Charm. Pig Charm. Ghost Mask. Inactive. 8 demons. Not activated. 9 Ghosts General. Inactive. Hockey. Conqueror's Hockey. Intermediate. Armament Hockey. Intermediate. Observation Hockey. Intermediate. While fishing, Alan looked at his character panel. First, in the past 8 years, he has activated 2 devil fruits again, namely the Sheep Charm and the Pig Charm. The power of the 12 talismans goes without saying. The sheep talisman seems to let one's soul come out of the body, but it is not. If the development is strong enough, it is a technique that can directly attack the soul. The Pig Charm, that is, needless to say, the electric eye is extremely terrifying. 3 of the 12 spells have been activated, plus the magic of fire, and now the template of the Holy Master has only been developed to 35%, it seems. It still needs to continue to work hard. Alan had a look of emotion on his face. Seriously. When he really went to sea, Alan found out how difficult it is to get devil fruit. He and his stinky brother have been working hard to become stronger for so many years. In the process, while the strength was improved, he also got some devil fruit. Only, the two brothers are not really the top powerhouses in this sea, so it will take time to get more devil fruit. Big brother. Newgate strode over, sat down cross-legged, and skillfully took out a cigar and lit it. Subsequently, Newgate, who was breathing clouds and clouds, said, Gold, Silver and Bronze Pirates, who are the people behind them? Alan shook his head and said, I can't be sure, it should belong to a certain pirate group, but if. Seriously, Alan is really not very clear about this matter. The Gold, Silver and Bronze Pirates, such a pirate group is almost the top pirate group on the sea today. But the problem is here. There are people behind such a top pirate group, so who is the whole person? This is a very strange thing. But here's the problem, whether it's strange or not, you really don't know who the other person is behind the scenes. Never mind. Alan shrugged and said casually, whoever he is. As long as he dares to stand in front of Laozi, Laozi doesn't mind killing him. Goo la la la, Newgate said with a big smile. It really is your character, eldest brother. Cut. Alan pouted, then said, by the way, have you found a weapon and devil fruit that suits you recently? Kong Cloud cut. Shock fruit. This brilliant sword and this devil fruit are definitely the most suitable for Newgate. It is almost impossible for someone else to exert their full strength. No matter what, these two treasures, one is the top-level devil fruit, the other is the supreme knife, they are so easy to find there. As for Newgate's physical injury, that is pure bullshit. Don't forget, Alan inherited the template of the Holy Master, and now he has awakened 3 spells. The Sheep Charm, the Dragon Charm, and the Pig Charm, and the Horse Charm will be awakened in the future. What is the magic of the Horse Charm? It is not a treatment, but a restoration. It can restore people and things to the peak period, This is the true power of the Horse Charm. So, the so-called hidden injuries brought by shock fruit are all small problems, including the hellish training of Newgate since he was a child. There is no need to think about the dark injury at all. When you get the Horse Charm, these are all small problems that are easy to solve, and they can be solved directly. Of course, these are all things Alan thinks about himself. After hearing the elder brother's question, Newgate shrugged and said, "Brother, don't mention it, I just didn't find it. You know, I like to use a Naginata sword, and there are almost no suitable Naginata swords on the sea." Well, Alan shook his head and said, "There's no need to worry anyway, just take your time." Newgate agreed. Indeed, the two brothers are not in a hurry, there is no weapon in hand, and there is no suitable devil fruit, so hockey is honed. The master template activated by yourself requires deep development and mastering for the magic of fire and the 12 spells, not to say that after you get it, you will directly develop it to the ultimate. As for an ability, developing and not developing it are purely two different things. Just look at the sheep talisman. The developed sheep talisman can directly direct the soul, but it cannot be developed, that is, the effect of the soul going out of the body. Same. Alan has never relaxed about hockey's master and training, as well as honing his physical skills and skills. It is a real 10-year training. The same goes for Newgate. In the future, this stinky boy from his own family will be called the strongest man in the world, not only because of the so-called shock fruit, but because of his near-perfect strength and physique. Hockey. Fruit ability. All aspects go hand in hand, without any flaws. This is what is qualified to be called the strongest man in the world. When the brothers were chatting, suddenly, Newgate felt something, stood up, narrowed his eyes slightly, looked into the distance, and said hideously, "Brother, it looks like the other party is here." Alan said without looking up, "Has everyone left?" Newgate nodded and said, "Brother, don't worry, our people have already left, and we will come back when the battle is over." Very good. Alan stood up slowly, looking at a huge pirate ship galloping in the distance, the corners of his mouth grinned, and he said grimly, "It's finally here, the gold, silver and bronze pirates. Don't let Laozi down. It's better to have a little fun for Laozi." He. At this moment, with this hideous smile and cruel gesture, Alan seemed to be a real demon. P.S. The new book is uploaded, 10 times on the first day. 7th. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge, event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 8. This is the 2 billion reward. Where are you three brothers tickling? Wow. A huge pirate ship came galloping, and the three of them saw the scene in front of them, and their eyes were immediately full of killing intent. Brother Edward. Very good. They are simply courting death. The leader was a tall figure nearly 4 meters tall, wearing golden knight armor, his eyes were full of killing intent. That's right. Damn. The person who answered was a tall figure who was also tall and wearing silver knight armor. He nodded indifferently. He. In the end, the one who sneered was the figure in the copper-colored knight's armor. He looked at everything in front of him indifferently. Gold, silver and bronze pirates. Gold hammer, silver hammer, bronze hammer. That's right. It's just 3 brothers. Golden hammer, bounty, 980 million Bailey. Silver hammer, bounty, 879.99 million Baileys. Bronze hammer, bounty, 758 million Baileys. The total bounty has exceeded 2.5 billion. In this era when the bounty has not gone wild, it is definitely a very terrifying monster. Not to mention, the 3 brothers have been traversing the new world for more than 10 years, and no one has dared to provoke and challenge the 3 brothers, because all those who dare to provoke and challenge are already dead and can no longer die. Now, the people under their hands were actually hung up and hung on the bow of the boat. They looked like they were breathing more and less, and they were basically not far from death. The huge pirate ship was slowly approaching. Alan put his hands in his pockets, with a cigarette in his mouth, looked at the 3 people in front of him with interest, his mouth twitched, and said, "Golden hammer, silver hammer, copper hammer, gold, silver and bronze pirates, the 3 captains of the regiment, the heads of the 3 of you are very valuable." He. Silver hammer sneered again and again, and said coldly, "There are many people who want to take off the heads of our 3 brothers, kid. What kind of thing are you? What am I? The corners of Alan's mouth grinned open, and his arrogant expression was quite rude, and he said very excitedly, "Is Laozi your father?" Court death. The copper hammer instantly burned with anger, and he picked up the weapon beside him. It was a huge copper hammer. Actually, the 3 brothers' golden hammer, silver hammer, and bronze hammer are triplets, but what was their original name? Actually, no one knows about it, but what is certain is that the nicknames of their 3 brothers are such nicknames. Over time, they have always been called nicknames. On this sea, there are no wrong nicknames, only wrong names. Many times, over time, his own name has been gradually forgotten. Exploding copper hammer. With a roar, the copper hammer has already jumped deep, and the blow from top to bottom smashed down fiercely. Boom. This big bronze hammer was obviously transformed, and it exploded suddenly like a bomb, and it was not a single shot, but a terrifying series of shells. Crackling. Humph. Bronze hammer snorted coldly, but his face showed no carelessness. It was inevitable that 2-color hockey could get into their brother's position. His own observation hockey reminded himself that shrouded in the smoke of the explosion was a terrifying and tyrannical beast. Ha. Crazy laughter resounded, Alan was holding a copper hammer in one hand, his figure had emerged, and he said excitedly, "It's really great. It's fun. It's fun. Laozi is most looking forward to opponents like you." Quote. Search. After spitting out the cigarette, Alan looked around grimly, licked the corner of his mouth excitedly, and said, "Then, next, Laozi is welcome." Bear. In an instant, a scorching flame burst out, Alan's palm was burning with raging flames, and the terrifying temperature was rising wildly. The bronze hammer's eyes shrank. The next moment, he immediately stepped back without hesitation. The bronze hammer in his hand was gradually burned under the blessing of armament hockey. "Big brother. Second brother. Be careful." The copper hammer became vigilant almost instantly, and said without hesitation, "This kid is not simple, his flame. It can melt my armament hockey." The golden hammer and the silver hammer also became vigilant immediately. For so many years in the New World, if they relied on arrogance, then they simply did not know how many times they died. On the contrary, these three brothers rely on sufficient vigilance, and no matter what time they are, they will not be careless. Therefore, the reason why the copper hammer is the first to shoot today is here, and it is more for testing. Ha ha ha, Alan said interestingly. You three brothers are quite interesting. As a powerful pirate group that has been in the sea for so many years, there is someone as your boss, and you are so vigilant. Humph. Golden Hammer snorted coldly and said indifferently, "Above this sea, if you are not vigilant enough, you will die very miserably." That's right. Die. At this moment, one after another silhouettes suddenly rushed out from under the sea. They were all wearing tight suits, holding sharp daggers, and wrapped around armament hockey. Any emotion? Oh who? Alan raised the corner of his mouth interestingly and said, "Sneak attack." This is a pirate, and victory is the only result. The golden hammer of destruction. Destroy the silver hammer. Exploding copper hammer. The three brothers, the golden hammer, the silver hammer, and the bronze hammer, suddenly shot at the same time. The three brothers, who had a bounty of more than 2 billion Baileys, were swept away with huge warhammers at the same time. For a while, Alan seemed to be in a desperate situation. Boom. The terrifying roar exploded instantly, and Alan was also completely covered by the monstrous smoke. But, in an astonishing scene, Alan's sarcastic voice came out, sarcastically saying, "So, this is an attack that exceeds the 2 billion bounty. Are you tickling Laozi? P.S. The new book is uploaded 10 times on the first day. 8th more. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. P.S. Brothers, it is now the 8th update. There are 2,000 flowers plus more. 10 monthly passes plus more. Pray for a wave of support. Brothers, don't worry, as long as the data keeps up, the small stone update is guaranteed to keep up, and there are 12 updates on the first day. 15 more. Just enough data. Everything is no problem. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 9. Allenby's Three Brothers, the Tyrannical Dragon. Quote. The smoke cleared, and Alan's grim smile emerged. Roar. Opening his mouth was a monstrous flame shock wave that burst out immediately. In addition, there was the electric eye shock wave that burst out of the eyes. The three shock waves directly penetrated the silver hammer in front of him. Wow. The silver hammer spurted out a mouthful of blood. Although he dodged very quickly, 3 wounds were still pierced through his abdomen. Nice. Alan said excitedly. The amazing armament hockey actually prevented Laozi's offensive. Humph. But, although he said his approval, Alan stepped on the deck with 1 foot, and then, like a cannonball, he rushed out in an instant. Hit the snake and hit 7 inches. Get started. Definitely need to be savage enough. Bear. With his hands burning with raging flames, Alan opened his mouth and a monstrous heat wave emerged. Dragon Blast. Roar. Compared with the power just now, it is more terrifying. If the use of ordinary dragon charms is just like that, then, Dragon Blast, is Alan's perfect blow that can fully exert the power of dragon charms. Damn it. Silver Hammer's face was very ugly, and Golden Hammer and Bronze Hammer also immediately supported. Boom. The three brothers joined forces to block Alan's terrifying shock wave of red flames. In an instant, Alan went straight to the opponent again. Exploding Copper Hammer. The Copper Hammer suddenly shot, the extremely fast Iron Hammer exploded frantically, and the terrifying sounds resounded one after another like a missile. He. But facing the attack of the Copper Hammer, Alan did not evade at all, instead he resisted and said sarcastically, Hey, are you an idiot? Can't you see that Laozi was manipulated by it? Is it the power of fire? The flames generated by the explosion were controlled by Alan, and the next moment, the smile on the corner of Alan's mouth became more and more hideous. He simply ignored the Copper Hammer and went straight to the Silver Hammer again. Die Laozi here. Clenching a fist with one hand, Alan's fist burned with raging flames, and the monstrous flames converged into a huge flaming fist. Fire Punch. Although it was purely a nasty punch, Alan's punch hit the Silver Hammer straight down. Damn it. Sure enough, Logia Demon Fruit Power. Big brother. No problem. Golden Hammer also nodded solemnly. He really never thought that this kid was so powerful. Edward Allen. Really? You can't underestimate anyone. A sharp light appeared in Jinhammer's eyes, he suddenly opened his hands, and a terrifying suction force emerged. Roar. With the terrifying roar, he directly absorbed both the silver hammer and the copper hammer, and the next moment, he absorbed it directly. Seeing this scene, Allen was also stunned, looked at this scene in astonishment, and said differently, demon fruit power. Or, the talent of 3 natural brothers. Roar. The next moment, the body of the golden hammer expanded again, and it expanded to a height of nearly 8 meters in one breath. In addition, the original body also became 3 heads and 6 arms, the heads of the 3 brothers, the golden hammer, the silver hammer, and the bronze hammer, and 6 arm. Allen couldn't help but exclaimed, F***K. 3 heads and 6 arms. He. Jinyantong sneered again and again. Allen. You should feel lucky, you are one of the very few people who can see the fruit power of the 3 of us. I am the fusion person who ate the Paramesha fusion fruit. Really? Allen nodded clearly and said, it's almost as I guessed, Paramesha's demon fruit power, but this fusion fruit. Munch fruit, chaotic fruit. But this fusion fruit. Allen rubbed his chin, thought for a moment, and then said casually, forget it. Laozi also misses you, come on. Go on. Talking. Allen hooked his fingers at the gold, silver and bronze, with his hands in his pockets, a look of disdain at all. The 2 are on the deck, the battle has become more intense, and the pirate ship under them has basically collapsed. Roar. Gold, silver and bronze let out a roar and headed straight for Allen, with 3 heads and 6 arms showing astonishing power. Although Allen seemed to be arrogant, he never had any carelessness in his heart. Roar. Dragon blast. The electric eye burst. Allen's 3 shock waves burst out at the same time, and the terrifying shock force directly seemed to destroy everything, going straight to the gold, silver and bronze. Drink. With a loud shout of gold, silver and bronze, all 3 giant hammers were swung, and the more terrifying armament hockey was entangled, directly blocking Allen's terrifying blow. Seeing this scene, Allen said secretly, the armament hockey of the 3 people has also been superimposed, so it is. No wonder it is the fusion fruit. After the fusion, almost the strength of the 3 people has increased by 1 + 1 + 13, which is probably such a calculation is. Allen isn't particularly sure either, though. For such an opponent, he is also very excited. After all, Laozi has never met a suitable opponent. Today, Laozi doesn't need to be polite anymore. Ha ha ha. With the crazy laughter, Allen clenched his fists with excitement. Wave. The jet black armament hockey covered the entire upper body, and at the same time, with the blazing flames of the booming, in an instant. The monstrous flames were already attached to his arms and boiled, his eyes flashing with thunder, he stepped on the deck step by step, and went straight to the gold, silver and copper. Roar. A dragon roar resounded, and the flames around Allen seemed to have transformed into a roaring dragon. That is, dragon, gold, silver and bronze were all stunned for a while, but it was a pity. It's meaningless. Triple destruction golden hammer. Dragon blast. P.S. The new book is uploaded, 10 times on the first day. 9th more. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge, event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 10. Laozi sprays you to death. Destroy the gold, silver and bronze pirates. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Unconsciously, the blood has gradually dripped. Allen, gold, silver and bronze. Both of their bodies were densely covered with a lot of scars. Humph. Wiping the bloodline at the corner of his mouth, Allen not only did not have any fear, but said very excitedly, enjoyed. Enjoyed. It is really too enjoyable. Gold, silver and bronze, you 3 brothers are really great. As this qualified, it's really exciting. Ha ha ha. Listening to Allen's crazy laughter, especially watching Allen's gradually recovering injury, the 3 faces of gold, silver and bronze are not good looking. Undeniably said, Allen's recovery is really too terrifying. The injuries on his body are recovering so quickly. Still that sentence, the power of the Holy Master is not only the 12 spells and the magic of fire, but also has other powers. Among them are the defensive power of dragon scales, the recovery power of dragon blood, and the persistent fighting power of dragons, all of which are included. Search. Licking the corner of his mouth slightly, Allen said fiercely, next. The second round begins. Dragon blast. The electric eye burst. Allen's shot was almost as if he was about to kill, and 3 terrifying shock waves immediately swept in. After a long battle, the current look of gold, silver and bronze was not good looking. Facing Allen's offensive, he had already endured it's not that easy anymore. Triple destruction silver hammer. Drink. But with a roar, he still met Allen's attack. Boom. Goo la la la. Accompanied by the mushroom cloud, Newgate was laughing loudly, holding a Naginata sword, and the figures had fallen one by one, and said confidently, you are really too weak, aren't you? That's all. Not at all. Being in the eyes of Laozi. Gold, silver and bronze pirates. In addition to gold, silver and bronze, there are also 10 cadres. Only. Now, One of these 10 cadres is counted as one. They are all lying on the ground. They are basically half dead. Needless to say, they know that they must have been directly beheaded by Newgate. No one thinks that Newgate, who is now 18 years old without Kong Yunchi and shock fruit, is weak, right? Stop it. Newgate's talent can tell you how huge the gap between evildoers and humans is. Whether it is Naginata's kendo or the development of Conqueror's haki, Newgate is terrifying like a monster. Ha, ha, are these brothers monsters? I do not know. Damn it. One of the remaining pirates in the gold, silver and bronze pirates group is counted as one, and their faces are not good looking. They never imagined that the strength of the other party would be so terrifying. Alan faced the 3 captains with his own strength, and even forced the 3 captains to come up with a hidden trick. The same is true for Newgate, who faced the rest of the entire gold, silver and bronze pirates with his own strength, and also killed the quartet. Goo la la la. Newgate looked at the pirates in front of him and laughed. Looks like you guys have stopped here. If that's the case, then Laozi is welcome. Prepare Laozi for death. Quote. Snapped. Snapped. Holding Kong Yunchi, Newgate walked straight to the pirate in front of him step by step. Each step was not fast, even very heavy, but each step seemed to be stepping on their hearts, making them every step. Everyone shivered. Wave. An invisible air wave burst out from Newgate's body, and it was the air wave that made Haki, the king of love. ... Dragon fist. Roar. Alan let out a roar like an angry dragon, and the next moment, the monstrous flames boiled up. The shock wave of the dragon charm and the electric eye of the pig charm both burst out, but this time it was unexpectedly gradually destroyed by Alan. Absorbed. The power that turned into terror directly converged on the right fist. The next moment, the 3 forces converged, and Alan's fist directly converged into a roaring dragon's head. A punch pierced through, as if it was a penetrating red flame anger. Dragon General. Triple, destruction, destruction, explosion, Warhammer. Gold, silver and bronze also roared. This is the stunt of the 3 brothers pressing the bottom of the box. Boom. The attack of the 2 exploded instantly. Next moment, Alan's punch directly smashed the 3 brothers, and the ability to fuse the fruit was directly torn apart. Humph. Before the fusion, it was the severely wounded Silver Hammer, and the next moment he snorted, he died, and his body could no longer bear it. PFF'd. The body fell into the water, and the Copper Hammer let out a deafening roar, saying, "Second brother. You bastard, Laozi is going to kill you." The same weak Copper Hammer held his own huge Copper Hammer and went straight to Alan. Exploding Copper Hammer. What? The electric eye burst. Alan didn't care about the attack of the Copper Hammer at all. The weak Copper Hammer attack was like a joke. The eyes burst directly, and a terrifying shock wave of electric light instantly penetrated the head of the Copper Hammer. The Copper Hammer weakly spit out a word. The whole person was torn apart by Alan. The body was divided in 2, and it fell into the sea like this. Second brother. Third brother. As a fruit fusion person, Golden Hammer is also not that good. His body is abnormally weak, and he is also roaring loudly, and even widened his eyes in disbelief. He never imagined that Alan would be like this. Fear. Even to say. On Alan's body, the Golden Hammer saw the figure of his boss, who was also young and possessed the same terrifying strength. Hey, look straight at Laozi. Ha ha ha. Alan walked over to the Golden Hammer step by step. The Golden Hammer of Destruction. Golden Hammer launched the final attack, but unfortunately, it was ineffective at all. Alan directly resisted Golden Hammer's attack, approaching step by step, grabbing Golden Hammer's head with both hands, and a maddening smile emerged. Dragon Blast. Death to Laozi. From top to bottom, Alan's shock wave directly penetrated the Golden Hammer. So far, the 3 brothers of gold, silver and bronze were all destroyed, and the other side. P.S. The new book is uploaded 10 times on the first day. 10th. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. P.S. Brothers. The first 10 update is over. Kneeling and begging for a wave of support. There is still 1500 flowers to add. There are still 10 monthly tickets to add more. I beg for the data. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 11. Great Harvest. Simply earn a lot of money. Goo la la la. What echoed above the sea was Newgate's heroic laughter. He held Kong Yunchi and said arrogantly, "Brother. Are these the so-called guys with a bounty of more than 2 billion Bailey? Not worth mentioning." Ha ha ha. Alan also smiled and said, "It's just 3 pieces of trash. Newgate, let someone come back and loot the gold, silver and bronze pirates." No problem. Newgate took the phone bug to the contacts. And Alan sat down cross-legged, took out a cigarette from his pocket, snapped his fingers, lit the cigarette, and puffed out the familiar smoke, although he didn't seem to be hurt. But the injury is indeed suffered, but the recovery is almost the same. After all, the blood of the Holy Lord's dragon is here. Besides, there is also a huge physical consumption. After all, such a battle would be strange if there was no physical consumption. Golden Hammer. Silver Hammer. Bronze Hammer. The 3 brothers, gold, silver and bronze, what a pity. The heads of the golden hammer and the silver hammer have been killed, and only the bronze hammer is left. Alan looked at the three brothers with pity, and wanted to go to Marine to collect the bounty, either by sending the living person there, or by taking the head there, and now only the copper hammer is left, which is a loss of more than 1 billion. Bailey. Never mind. Feeling a little pity, Alan was no longer tangled, but pondered, who are the people behind these three guys? But, the corners of his mouth grinned, and Alan said interestingly, Laozi killed his subordinates, so he probably couldn't sit still, right? Ha ha ha. Thinking of such an opponent, Alan raised the corners of his mouth funny, but it was really exciting. Big brother. People will be here soon. Newgate came over and sat down, sitting cross-legged on the ground, and took out a cigar. Because of his eldest brother, he also learned it, but with his height of nearly 7 meters, cigars are the most enjoyable. Woo. Newgate swallowed the clouds comfortably, and said carelessly, Brother, how is the harvest this time? Alan shrugged and said, the guarantee is that the 758 million Baileys of the copper hammer can be taken. As for the heads of the golden hammer and the silver hammer, one was sprayed into residue by me, and the other was cut in half by me. I don't know now. Where did you go? The corner of Newgate's mouth twitched slightly, and said, Big brother. If I remember correctly, the copper hammer also fell into the sea, right? Quote. F***K. It's a big loss. After a brief silence between the two brothers, they all felt a little helpless. This time, it was a big loss. This is really a big loss, but there is no way to do it, after all. People can only do this. Wow. Just when the two brothers were tangled, their ship had already sailed. Actually, this ship has a ship doctor, a cook, a boatman, a navigator, and a helmsman. Basically there are all kinds of identities, but the strength they don't have is very weak. To put it bluntly, Alan and the Newgate brothers don't need them to do anything. You are responsible for logistics and that's all. Big brother Alan. Brother Newgate. Everyone quickly boarded the ship. Alan instructed. Go, find out all the treasures of the gold, silver and bronze pirates for me, really. This time, it was a big loss. The more than 2 billion bounties were all lost. Yes, many people immediately started to get busy. Soon, boxes of treasures were carried out from the cabin. An accountant who looked young came over and said, Two eldest brothers, the treasures obtained this time are only 1.5 billion in gold and silver treasures. Both of them showed a smile. 1.5 billion Baileys. To be honest. In fact, the income of a pirate group is not necessarily so huge, after all. You can't rob every day, can you? Unless it is the kind of very terrifying pirate group. That's why. Future Kaido expands new business, sells weapons. Lin gets married. Shanks also have their own territory. Newgate is of course needless to say. It's all for the protection fee, no way. There are so many people in the family. As the eldest, if you open your eyes, you will be eating, drinking and leasing thousands of people. If you can't deal with it, there are problems. Therefore, it is most appropriate to collect protection fees. You don't need to be too serious, and most of the time, no one will ask for trouble, basically making money. After all, what a pirate group robbed still has to be divided. From the original book, Newgate financed the Sphinx alone, and then it was obvious that the pirates were not happy when they got money. Alan rubbed his chin and said, seriously, I made a good profit this time. There are 1.5 billion Baileys, not bad. Not bad. That's right. Newgate also smiled excitedly. In the past 8 years, the two brothers deducted the expenses, and at most they got 3 billion Baileys. In this breath, they got half of the 8 years. But quite exciting. According to the character of pirates, the first reaction when you have money is to go out and enjoy. Do you expect them to save money obediently? That's just pure bullshit. Not just that. The accountant shook his head and said, 2 big brothers. In addition, there are 5 devil fruits, and the situation of the gold, silver and bronze pirates is very strange. It seems that they should be paying tribute to individuals. These treasures are all it's very neatly packaged. Both Alan and Newgate were interested on a whim, apparently. This was sent to the big brother behind the scenes of the gold, silver and bronze pirates. This is very interesting. Of course. Not to mention this, there are 5 devil fruits, this thing. That's the most important thing, right? P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. The first. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 12. Bull Charm. Kong Yunchi's treasure map. In general, this time it is definitely a lot of money. 1.5 billion Baileys, 5 devil fruits. Put it up. Put it up. Alan said without hesitation. Pack up all the treasures, we are ready to leave. Yes. Hearing Alan's words, he immediately started to act. Boxes of treasure were carried onto the ship. Soon. Everything is ready. Roar. When Alan opened his mouth, the terrifying dragon blasting shock wave exploded instantly, destroying all the pirate ships. Wiping the corners of his mouth slightly, Alan ordered, "Set sail, go." "No problem, big brother Alan." Everyone immediately began to set sail, and gradually went into the distance. The harvest this time is huge. Naturally. According to the characters of Alan and Newgate, of course there is a banquet, a grand banquet. Under night, both brothers drank a lot. Until the next day. Alan rubbed his head to recover gradually. Rubbing his brows, Alan stood up, after having breakfast. This is what came to the treasure room. Alan smiled when he saw the 5 devil fruits in front of him. The next moment, the system's ability was activated, directly absorbing the 5 devil fruits. Pure energy melts into oneself. Summon the spell directly. Alan was not polite, and summoned a new spell directly. Moo. And with Alan's call, a looming roar emerged. Next moment, directly into his body, crackling. Alan's body seemed to be making bursts of bursting sounds, and his entire body seemed to be twisted. Woo. When everything calmed down, Alan let out a long sigh of relief, feeling the movements of his body, a smile on the corner of his mouth, and said interestingly, "This is the power of the cow spell. But it's really scary enough." Snapped. He clenched his fist slightly, but he could feel it, it was infinite power. The power of the cow charm is extremely terrifying, and it is only a human being who already possesses the power comparable to that of a demon. But, don't think this is the limit of the bull charm. More than that, 12 spells are like this. No one really thinks that ordinary humans can exert the power of 12 spells to ultimate, right? It's like a joke. In other words, if Alan's original strength was 10, and now he holds a bull spell as 100, and when his own strength is increased to 100, then the power that the bull spell can exert may be thousands, or even tens of thousands. That's right. The magic of the spell is extremely terrifying. Woo. Feeling the magic power of the ox talisman, Alan let out a sigh of turbidity and said with great satisfaction, "The ox talisman, the dragon talisman, the pig talisman, the talismans of pure attack, now I have got 3, which is completely enough." After controlling the power of the cow spell, he left the treasure house. Next, it's time for your daily training. No matter how powerful you are, training has never let down your guard. At any time, any strength requires sufficient effort. Alan had serious doubts. Why are Marco, Jin, Katakuri, and Beckman all emperors, who should be very penultimate? Only Beckman and Shanks are called double emperors. I'm afraid it's because other people have grown to a certain level, they are lazy as pirates, and they don't want to work harder. Strength is a thing, if you don't advance, you will retreat. It's good to be able to keep it after you relax. Do you want to improve? Pure nonsense. Big brother. When Alan finished training, Newgate woke up rubbing his head. What? Patting his head, Newgate complained with a headache, drinking too much again. He. Alan chuckled and said, "Get up and train quickly. Today's daily training has not continued." Coming. Big brother. Newgate also stood up. After taking a bite of food, he started training. Under the guidance of his elder brother, these were still very serious. In terms of strength, Newgate did not relax his vigilance at all. Under the night, after finishing the training, Newgate sat down on the deck and asked while eating, "Brother, what will happen next?" Seriously. During these 8 years, the Edward brothers are basically exercising. Fighting. Play money. Repeat this process. The 2 brothers are pirates, but they don't have their own pirate group either. Just 2 weirdos. Alan rubbed his chin and said, "What are you doing? Old rules. Pay money, and then get devil fruit, right? Right. It's better to be able to find a weapon and devil fruit that suits you. These are more important." No problem. The plan was very simple, and Newgate agreed immediately. Big brother Alan. Brother Newgate. What's wrong? Both of them turned their heads strangely, and the accountant came out of the treasure room. He was going to check all the treasures. After all, the treasure is back, you can't accumulate it where, you still have to make sure how much money you have in your hands. This accountant did all this work. He was the first to follow the 2 of them. Now he is 15 years old. He has been following the 2 since he was 10 years old. This work is still very well done. It is worth mentioning that the accountant's name is Neil, and Neil ran over and said, "Big buddies. I found a treasure map in the treasure box. It should be the treasure map of Kong Yuncho, one of the most powerful knives. Look at it." Alan and Newgate were both stunned, took the treasure map in Neil's hand, and watched it carefully. Ha ha ha. Alan burst into laughter and said excitedly, "It's really a surprise. Neil let me know and let Laozi go to this island. There are so many clouds and clouds, Laozi is bound to win." No problem, big brother Alan. Neil immediately went to inform the others to set sail according to the treasure map. P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. Second more. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 13. Brother Edward. The total reward exceeds 2.5 billion Bailey. Kong Cloud Cut. It is the only Naginata sword among the 12 great swordsmen. It can be said that this is the most suitable weapon for Newgate. Goo la la la. Newgate laughed and said, brother. I really didn't expect it. Originally, we didn't care, but we found it at this time. Indeed. Alan also nodded and said, the harvest this time is indeed quite surprising. I originally planned to continue searching, but I found this Bing Wushang knife directly. Kong Cloud Cut. Shock Fruit. This is definitely the most suitable for Newgate. Alan naturally helps to find it. He has been searching for so many years, but still, if you want to specifically find a weapon or devil fruit, it is almost like looking for a needle in a haystack, where it is so easy thing. But, Newgate thought about it and said, brother, if there is no accident, the people behind the 3 gold, silver and bronze brothers are also expected to come. Neil walked over and said, brother Newgate, the possibility that the other party knows about this matter should not be high. If this treasure map is viewed according to the distribution of treasures, it should be similar to a tribute this time. One's gift. I see. Alan grinned savagely and said, isn't this more interesting? That person will definitely come. Laozi also wants to see who is behind the 3 gold, silver and bronze brothers. If they are too weak, Laozi will get bored too. Goo la la la. Newgate also laughed proudly. That's right. That's right. Laozi also wants to see how his opponent's strength is. The 2 brothers looked at each other. In his eyes, he could see the arrogance of the other party. Either way, other side, surely it will come. Whether it was because of the news that the gold, silver and bronze pirates died in battle, if you knew about the treasure map of Kong Yunchi, it would be even more useless. This is the ultimate knife. Correct. Neil thought of something and said, big brother. In Happy Island, that woman from Stussy sent us an invitation, saying that there will be an auction in 5 months. What? Alan was stunned for a moment, and said strangely, that woman Stussy is actually going to hold an auction. Neil nodded and continued. Besides, there are still 3 months later, in Hachinosu, there seems to be something going on this island, where a large number of pirates gathered, saying that there is a big event. Big things. Hachinosu. Alan narrowed his eyes slightly, thinking about this matter, the big event of Hachinosu. If I remember correctly, Rock's Pirate is where everyone gathered in Hachinosu for some reason. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Alan laughed excitedly. It's finally about to begin. This most interesting era. It's so interesting. It's so interesting. Big brother. Big brother Alan. Both Newgate and Neil were very at a loss. Alan's smile faded, and he said grimly, 3 months later, Hachinosu's party, you can't miss it. If I remember correctly, this banquet includes the terrifying monster Rox D. Zebek. Quote. This monster. Both were stunned. Rox D. Zebek. This monster is a lone ranger above the sea, but his strength is the most terrifying. He is arrogant and dominates the Sea of New World. Although he is a lone ranger, who would dare to underestimate this monster? It's just that you don't know how to die. Never mind. Alan said calmly. This matter is not important for the time being. Our next goal is Kong Yunchi. Anyone who dares to stand in front of us will die. Goo la la la. Newgate said arrogantly. Of course there is no problem, brother. Neil immediately went to prepare things. Alan's hideous smile appeared, as long as it was what he wanted, no matter what the difficulties or obstacles, no matter what the obstacles in front of him were, it was meaningless. Wow, wow, the pirate ship carrying the Edward brothers is heading into the distance. And, this trip is very interesting. ... Big brother. Big brother. With the shouting, the younger brother came running fast, and he hurriedly said, Brother Alan, Brother Newgate, the new reward order for the 2 of you has appeared. What? The 2 who had just finished their training and were about to finish their meal were stunned. Alan asked strangely, the 2 of us have been promoted to the reward order. Yes. The younger brother hurriedly nodded and took out 2 reward orders. Demon. Edward Allen. Ability. Logia Mera Mera Fruit. Bounty. 1.4 billion Bailey. Extremely dangerous. This is an extremely dangerous and terrifying man who can be killed on the spot without arresting him. Whitebeard. Edward Newgate. Bounty. 1.2 billion Bailey. Extremely dangerous. This is an extremely dangerous and terrifying man who can be killed on the spot without arresting him. This is a bounty for the brand new duo Alan and Newgate. Still, ha ha ha, Alan said with a big smile. Although it is said that after defeating the 3 gold, silver and bronze brothers, the reward order will be increased. I didn't expect it to get an explosive increase, and it was raised to 1.4 billion Bailey in one breath. In this era when the bounty has not exploded, above the sea, the bounty of 14 has almost been capped. Even Rox D. Zebek, that monster, is now only a 3.4 billion bounty. Of course, the bounty explosion was mainly in the era of the great pirates. There were too many pirates in that era. In order to stimulate the bounty hunters to catch them, the bounty was generally high. Goo la la la. Newgate also said with a big smile. If you calculate it like this. Brother, the sum of the bounty for the 2 of us exceeds 2.5 billion Baileys. P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. The third one. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rushed to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 14, Bad Island. Barloric Redfield. Alan reckoned that it was. But this is also a normal thing. According to the strength of the two, they defeated the three brothers of gold, silver and bronze, and destroyed the entire gold, silver and bronze pirates. This is also a matter of course. Never mind. It's not a big deal. Keep sailing. Yes. Following Alan's orders, the pirate ship continued to go straight to the location of the treasure. For the rest of the time, Alan and Newgate continued to regain their composure. Practice. Have a meal. Sleep. The life of 3 points and 1 line is very simple and rude. 10 days later, when the treasure island is still 7 days away, an island appeared before me. Looking at this island, everyone was stunned, and began to discuss in 70-80-80. What's going on here? I do not know. I've never heard of this island. Yes, everyone was full of dazed expressions, and it was not particularly clear what the situation was. A navigator is also a nautical chart in the hands of a researcher. Even more strange. What's wrong? Alan came over and asked strangely. Big brother Alan. The navigator came over with the nautical chart and said, Big brother. Look, there is no such island on the nautical chart. If nothing else, this island should be an unrecorded island. Oh, interesting. Put the boat over there. Yes, Alan immediately became interested. As a pirate who went out to sea, he encountered such an unknown island. If he didn't go to see it, that would be the strangest thing. Crackling. Boom. The violent storm is resounding, and the heavy rain is covering the island, and just covering this island, it can be seen that this island is indeed very interesting. But this is also a normal thing. For the strange weather in New World, there may be 2 islands that are 10 meters apart, one is like spring in all seasons, and the other is eternal winter. None of this is surprising. Exactly. This is too normal, and the weather in New World is not surprising at all. Wow. The pirate ship soon came to shore under the storm, while Alan put his hands in his pockets, looked at the island in front of him with interest, squinted his eyes slightly, and said, There is a strong aura. Hey, tell the brat, Laozi, go take a look. No problem, big brother. Alan jumped down and walked towards the depths of this island, and everyone was doing their jobs. Wow. Crackling. Accompanied by the thunder and lightning, Alan didn't care, and walked towards the depths of the island step by step, looking at everything in front of him, especially the scenery around him. How to say? The island that should probably be called a dark feeling, like a vampire, feels very strange. Boom. At this moment, a thunder light passed by, and a stone tablet was illuminated. Alan looked at the stone tablet, squinted his eyes and said, Bad Island. I really haven't heard of it. But, forget it, go in and see it. Continue to walk towards the depths of the island, and soon I saw a castle. From the outside, this castle has a very long time, about 300 to 500 years of history, which is not an exaggeration. Creak. Alan was not polite at all, walked over and pushed open the gate of the castle. Quote. The maid in the castle looked at Alan in astonishment. For a while, she didn't know what to say. Please. You are a guest. No matter what your identity is, you shouldn't be so self-conscious, right? Really. There is someone here. Alan looked at these maids, and also looked at the castle. As a whole, they all had the pattern of bats. He looked around and said casually, Is the master here? Who? You. Stand there. The maids all around immediately became vigilant. Whatever the situation, they took out their weapons almost invariably. Ha. Alan smiled casually. Don't be so nervous, Laozi is not interested in you guys, Laozi is more interested in the strong people on this island. Search. Licking the corner of his mouth slightly, Alan said interestingly, whether it's observation hockey or Laozi's instincts, they're telling Laozi that he's really quite a powerful monster. The first time, or, after so many years of sailing in the New World, it is not that I have not encountered strong people, but after 8 years of hard work. It was the first time that he had encountered a strong man who was almost the same as him. This is just a direct interest. Snapped. At this moment, the sound of footsteps came step by step, and a figure stepped out from the depths of the castle. Alan looked at this figure hidden in the darkness, and his smile grew even stronger. You all leave. Yes. The maids retreated, and the man who walked out was the figure of a boy who was about 18 or 19 years old like Alan. He has long white hair, which is braided over his shoulders, a plum red shirt and blood red trousers, black leather shoes with gold edging on his feet, and a large blood red cloak. Holding a slender bat-handled umbrella, his eyebrows are red, and a gold chain hangs on his mouth, with an evil smile. Grace, noble, evil charm. That temperament like a vampire is really vividly displayed. He. With a faint chuckle, he slowly opened his mouth and said, The bounty is as high as 1.4 billion Bailey, the man known as the Devil, you actually came to Bad Island, which really surprised me very much. Barloric Redfield. The corners of Alan's mouth twitched, and he said interestingly, I thought who had such strength, if it were you, it would be very reasonable. P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. 4th more. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 15. Alan vs. Barloric, a monster duo. Barloric Redfield. A terrifying monster. Known as Red Earl, Lonely Red, Lonely Rider, etc. With just one man, he went head to head with Roger, Whitebeard, Golden Lion and others. He hates alliances with people, and his creed is to enforce loneliness. As for how he was detained in Impel Down, no one knows this, but one thing is certain. This man, it is definitely powerful enough to be terrifying, but also powerful enough. At this point, there is absolutely no doubt about it. Bat Island. Alan said interestingly. In that case, this is your home. Alan. Barloric said lightly. You seem to know a lot of things that others don't. Alan said interestingly. Isn't it normal for some things to be known on this sea? As long as it happens, it will naturally be known. Interesting. Barloric clenched the bat umbrella in his hand, and said interestingly. If that's the case, then let me try it out. What is your strength, if it's too weak? Above this sea, you know too much to live. Just right. I want to try it too. Alan said interestingly. How strong is your strength? ... Click. The gate of the castle shattered in an instant, and Barloric stabbed straight ahead with a bat umbrella like a long sword. Alan opened one hand and directly blocked his attack, but the gate of the 100 castle behind him did not withstand it. Live. Humph. A smile appeared on the corners of their mouths. Crackling. The collision of the fist and the umbrella, covered by the pitch-black armament hockey, the attack of the two was extremely ferocious. Boom. With the last blow, the two of them retreated at the same time. Ha. Alan stood outside the castle, slightly hunched his body and slowly stood up straight, and laughed excitedly. It's really fun. Laozi has never felt this kind of battle. Barloric, you really are one qualified opponent. Crackling. Alan moved his muscles and bones a little, and his whole body was like a burst of beans, making bursts of bursting sounds, and said hideously, next. It's time to start. And Barloric was holding a bat umbrella, standing very elegantly inside the castle, and said with admiration, as expected of a monster with a bounty of 100 million, sure enough. The strength is terrifying. Next, is the real start. Of course. Boom. The two also stepped on the ground with one foot and went straight to each other, but the difference was that one of the ground collapsed in an instant, while the other appeared indistinct. Dragon Blast. Alan opened his mouth and a monstrous shock wave burst out. At the same time, both hands were burning with scorching flames, and they had come straight to Barloric. Mara fruit. Wrong. Using the umbrella as a sword, Barloric directly landed an astonishing slash, and thus launched the roaring shock wave, and the scattered shock wave directly shattered the surrounding ground. Next moment, with the bat umbrella wrapped around the jet-black hockey, he fought directly with Alan's flaming fists. The battle between the two quickly retreated to the outside. Barloric didn't want his castle to be demolished, and Alan was not a person who took pleasure in such actions. It was meaningless. Only by defeating his opponent, that kind of excitement and satisfaction will make Alan more satisfied. The electric eye burst. Dragon Blast. When Alan went straight to Barloric, 3 terrifying shock waves of lightning and flames burst out. Really, facing such an attack, Barloric did not resist hard, but avoided it at an extremely fast speed, and the 3 shock waves penetrated the entire island almost instantly. Actually, the ability of the pig charm is similar to that of Cyclops and Superman's heat rays. The ability of the dragon charm, to put it simply, is similar to the breath of a dragon, but the power is even more terrifying. What? Alan wiped the corner of his mouth, looked at Barloric with interest, and said with admiration, seriously, you are the first person who escaped Laozi's attack. Barloric also said seriously, your attack is not a Mara fruit at all, Marine's information is wrong, you are indeed using the ability of fire, but the ability of fire is only part of you. Oh, how did you notice it? Alan felt very interesting. Barloric said directly, elementalization. If it were the real Logia demon fruit power, the focus would be different. At the moment of the attack, almost the instinctive reaction is elementalization, but you are different. Your first instinct is to defend with armament hockey. Well, Laozi is indeed not a Logia demon fruit power. But, the corners of Alan's mouth twitched, and he said confidently, it doesn't matter, Barloric, let Laozi come and see how strong you are. A hideous smile appeared. Alan was extremely excited, such an opponent was the most interesting. Quote. Barloric didn't say anything, but looked at Alan quietly. The next moment, Alan's figure had stepped on the ground and came straight to him, so fast that it was like an afterimage. So fast. Barloric reacted almost instinctively, just. In an instant, he felt the terrifying power contained in that punch. Drink. Bull clash. With a roar, this cheesy move appeared. Alan's entire right arm even got a terrifying boost. To this extent, people instantly felt what a terrifying punch. Because the surrounding air was distorted, but Barloric showed off his extremely strong physique and armament hockey, and even took Alan's punch abruptly. The battle of the two. It's just the beginning. P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. 5th. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 16. Spoiler. Rocks D. Zebek. Bump. Crackling. The collision of fist and umbrella. The strong conqueror's hedge formed a dark purple airflow, which spread wildly around, and burst out with this terrifying aura. After a brief stalemate between the two. Then, quickly back away. Woo. Breathing out a mouthful of turbid air, Alan narrowed his eyes slightly. His eyes were sharp, and he said secretly in his heart, awesome strength, physique. Teishu. Kendo. Hockey. Almost every aspect is very perfect, without any flaws. Quote. Barorik remained silent, but his expression was equally solemn, and he said secretly, physical. Physical skills. Hockey. This man is very terrifying in all aspects, plus that extremely special ability, and, the power is too terrifying. Barorik has already seen it, purely from the point of view of speed. Alan's speed is the same thing. It was too terrifying to be unable to hold Alan's power. Just by using the recoil of the power, it could form a terrifying impact. But, Dragon Fist. Alan suddenly clenched a fist with one hand, and the magic energy of fire and the power of the 3 talismans were released at the same time, and this fist turned into a magic dragon again. Facing Alan's terrifying punch, Barorik didn't dare to be careless at all, and showed all his strength completely. Boom. A small mushroom cloud rose up in an instant. Bat Island port. Pirate ship. Newgate quietly looked at the depths of Bat Island, at the rising mushroom cloud, and thought for a moment, my dear. Who is so terrifying? It's as strong as Big Brother. Brother Edward. The strength of Alan and Newgate is somewhat different. Newgate is still worse than his eldest brother, and now this monster can be on par with his eldest brother. Newgate suddenly felt something. Watching a figure go straight to the depths of Bat Island, Newgate's face immediately turned aside, and he also went straight to Bat Island with a naginata in his hand. And, in the battlefield, Alan and Barorik noticed it at the same time. Ha. Both of them were panting slightly, but they stopped fighting. Barorik looked into the distance and said, Alan is your brother. Alan nodded and shook his head again. It's Newgate, but there is another aura, and speaking of which, both of them were silent, because they both felt that if they were a tiger, then at this moment they were facing the most terrifying and invincible Tyrannosaurus Rex in the Jurassic period, and it was that. An evolved version of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Right now, this terrifying monster has gradually come galloping. Search. Alan licked his lips, and a sinister smile appeared at the corners of his mouth. Barorik also clenched the bat umbrella in his hand almost instinctively, the pressure was too great. This is an unparalleled monster that makes people feel endlessly terrified. Search. A stream of light suddenly passed by, and immediately behind, Newgate's figure had chased over, shouting, Big Brother. Someone. Alan nodded and said, Stinky boy, I saw it, and I really never dreamed that such a terrifying monster would appear here. A figure has fallen to the ground. With long dark red hair and a dark red captain's coat, the whole person is full of arrogance. Oh ha, little devils. First meeting. With the terrifying laughter, this figure was looking at the 3 of them with both arms crossed. The expressions of the 3 people are abnormally solemn, they really dare not have any carelessness at all, they are very solemn and vigilant. On this sea, if you want to say which pirate group is the strongest. So, absolutely mixed opinions. But, what is certain is that although the gold, silver and bronze pirates are a big pirate group, they are at the bottom of the powerful pirate group. That is to say, no matter in any era, monsters exist and are powerful. Pirates all exist. If you ask who is the most powerful and most terrifying monster. So, everyone has only one statement. Rocks D. Zebek. This is an invincible man. 10 years ago, he relied on his power to besiege Marshal Marine and 3 Marine admirals, killing 3 directly, leaving only 1 Marine admiral who escaped. After that, this man disappeared for 5 years, and only reappeared in the last 5 years. But, even so, it has already proved how terrifying this man is. It can be said without any hesitation that this man is the strongest man in the world, there is absolutely no doubt about it. He. Alan chuckled and said seriously, Rocks D. Zebek. Seriously, although Laozi wanted to challenge a monster like you, he really didn't expect to meet a monster like you so quickly. Seriously, Alan is on the path of being a strong suitor, and of course he wants to challenge Rocks. But, I really didn't expect that I would meet Rocks so soon. This man's strength is definitely not his current opponent. You don't need to do it, even if it is simply through the breath emanating from the opponent. The 2 sides are not rivals at one level. Rocks. The strongest in the world. Newgate and Barorik, both of them whispered softly, staring at the man in front of them. The 2 who were fighting just now and Newgate were almost on the united front for a while. Even though, cooperation is not something to talk about, but in the face of such a monster, if it is a one-on-one challenge. It is estimated that he did not know how to die. This terrifying monster can definitely tear 3 people apart. P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. The first. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 17. 1 against 3. The devil like rocks. Oh ha ha ha. Rocks smiled grimly and said interestingly. 3 little devils, it seems that you don't plan to escape. He he he. Escape. Alan grinned and said, sorry. I don't have this habit. Baloric just looked at Rocks indifferently. Goo la la la. Holding Kong Yunchi, Newgate said proudly, Laozi never thought of running away. Very good. In that case, Laozi will show you the absolute power gap. Rocks didn't do anything at all, but just stood there with his hands around his chest, his eyes filled with arrogance, as if he didn't put these people in his eyes at all. Drink. Humph. Newgate and Baloric shot almost at the same time. Naginata and Bat Umbrella wrapped around armament hockey and fell at the same time. Can. Rocks opened his hands and grabbed the two's weapons directly. Humph. Facing the terrifying power of the two, Rocks said cruelly, is this the only way? But it's really weak. Such an offensive is like a child's tickling. Dragon Blast. The electric eye burst. Alan's attack fell at the same time, and 3 terrifying shock waves swept in instantly. Can. Almost a meter or so in front of Rocks, it stopped directly. No matter how terrifyingly Alan increased his strength, he couldn't penetrate Rocks at all. Oh ha ha ha, little devil, you are really too weak. With this terrifying roar, Rocks' aura instantly became violent. Next moment, a terrifying air wave burst out directly, and in an instant, it was like the sky was shattering. Rocks sent Newgate and Baloric flying out, and then stared at Alan's offensive, and went straight to Alan. And, incredibly fast, search. The punch fell directly, and Alan almost instinctively raised his fist to meet him. Bull clash. Alan's punch also greeted him. Pity. The result is something completely meaningless. Alan immediately felt a power that was more terrifying than his own attack, and had completely suppressed himself, and was instantly knocked out. Humph. With a muffled hum, the powerful force made Alan's face not good looking, slightly distorted, and his expression was very ugly. But, the moment he landed on the ground, Alan gasped slightly, allowing his breath to gradually return to calm. Oh ha ha ha. Rocks laughed and said, boy. Not bad. Facing Laozi's punch, he recovered so easily. But it's really scary. Alan rubbed his chest, stood up straight, and said excitedly, it really makes people feel the power of terror. Is this the power of the apex of the sea? It is really terrible to the ultimate. I don't know what the strength of Roger and Newgate in the future peak period will be. But, standing in front of him now, the power of Rocks in this peak period is absolutely superior. Such a terrifying power does not need to be doubted at all. Snapped. Snapped. At this time, Newgate and Baloric also walked over from both sides, and the 3 formed a zigzag formation. Goo la la la. Newgate held the Naginata. Although he was simply shot and flew out, he laughed heroically, but it's really powerful. That was armament hockey just now. But it's really scary. Baloric clenched the Bat Umbrella in his hand, his eyes extremely sharp. Certainly. Rocks proudly said. This is the top armament hockey, are you interested? Laozi taught you. Quote. Although Alan's smile remained the same, it became more dignified. If this was a top-notch Conqueror's hockey, then he wouldn't be surprised. Conqueror's hockey really has such an effect. Can armament hockey actually achieve such an effect in the hands of Rocks? But it really makes people feel endlessly terrified. To be honest, the effect that armament hockey owners can put out is like the 3 Admiral teaming up to block the impact of Newgate, that is, through armament hockey's external release. But, in the face of the combined shock wave of his own dragon spell and pig spell, Rocks just blocked it by relying on Rocks. What a horrible armament hockey. Teach us. The corners of Alan's mouth twitched, and he said interestingly, Rocks, what do you want to do? Doing what? Wait until you brats are defeated by Laozi. You will know. Rocks didn't answer Alan, but said this arrogantly, as if victory was a matter of course. This time, Newgate and Baloric both shot at the same time, and Alan rushed up instantly. The 3 of them joined hands to face Rocks, but a dark aura emerged from Rocks' body, and the terrifying aura grinned with a hideous smile on the corner of Rocks' mouth, and opened his hands. Roar. In an instant, the terrifying roar resounded, the monstrous pitch-black aura seemed to cover everything, and the 3 of them stared wide-eyed in astonishment. What the hell is this? Wrong. What the hell is this? Even a traverser like Alan felt astonished. What the hell is this? Never seen it at all. Oh ha ha ha. Rocks laughed horribly and said, little brats. Laozi will show you today how terrifying the power in the world is, you brats. You are no match at all. This hideous smile emerged, and Rock's breath became infinitely terrifying, like a roaring demon. Dragon Fist. Alan used his most powerful blow without hesitation, and the terrifying punch turned into a dragon and pierced through. P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. Second more. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rushed to recharge, event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 18, he gave too much. Click, click. Rocks directly crushed Newgate's Naginata and Baloric's bat umbrella. The two fell to the ground with bruises on their bodies, and only Alan was left standing. With the dragon's physique, Alan persisted and was able to continue standing here. Oh ha ha ha. Rocks laughed excitedly and said hideously, "Three little devils, they are really good strengths." Ha, ha. All three were gasping for breath, although Rocks seemed to be admiring the three. But the battle just now was not a one-level battle at all. To be precise, it was a unilateral slaughter, and there was no comparison at all. Woo. Alan took a deep breath, stood up straight, and asked interestingly, "Rocks, what do you want to do?" Seriously. According to Rocks' strength, if he wanted to kill himself and others, he would have died long ago, which is not a level at all. Since there are no three of them. So the meaning is still very obvious. Humph. Rocks grinned and said interestingly, "The smart Laozi also likes it very much, just say it. Alan, Newgate, Baloric, the three of you will become Laozi's crew." I reject. Not interested in. Oh ha ha ha. After everyone refused, Rocks instead said hideously, "Do you want to die?" Quote. The three of them just kept silent and looked at Rocks calmly. Rocks said indifferently, "High-level conquerors hockey cannot be achieved simply through cultivation. If there is no corresponding cultivation method, you will be like this even if you cultivate for a lifetime, and you will be weak all your life." Quote. Hearing this, the three of them were silent, as if they didn't know what to say. And Rocks continued. Armament hockey's internal destruction, observation hockey's seeing the future, conquerors hockey's conquerors entanglement, and the power just displayed by Laozi, these are high-level conquerors hockey. Make a deal. But Alan agreed without hesitation, though the corners of his mouth grinned openly. "Captain Rocks, you have to be prepared, don't give me a chance, otherwise, I don't mind killing you." Oh ha ha ha, boy, if you can do it, you can come and try it. Rocks is full of proud smiles, full of hockey posture, and full of absolute confidence. As the most powerful man in the world, he is also the most terrifying monster in the world. If such a monster is to be feared, then it is the strangest thing. The corners of Alan's mouth twitched, and a sinister smile emerged. I have always felt weird. The practice of conquerors hockey. Obviously I know what the effect is, but I just can't go further. Why is this? Now, I understand. Feelings, if there is no corresponding cultivation method, even if you are talented, you will not be able to go further. No wonder. Alan secretly understood that according to the character of pirates, it is impossible to teach others casually. And the world government can rule the world like this, and it almost raises pirates in captivity, because pirates will not become the real top powerhouses. Only in the era of the future 4 emperors will the pirates truly reach their peak, and almost all of those people have come out of the Rocks pirate and know the cultivation methods of the top conquerors hockey. What does this mean? It's self-evident. Edward Newgate. Rocks set his sights on Newgate. Newgate sat cross-legged directly on the ground and said casually, "Since the eldest brother has agreed, then I have no opinion." According to the character of his eldest brother, he has already agreed, then. There is definitely no problem, there is no doubt about it. Baloric Redfield. Rocks will be interesting to put on the body of Baloric. Seriously. Baloric is purely a windfall, and Rocks is looking for penultimate qualified people throughout the New World to invite them to join the Rocks pirate. As for how to invite, sometimes, I beat you, and then give you a red date is definitely the most appropriate. Not to mention, Captain Rocks gave too much. Not to mention the amount of gold and silver treasures that can be obtained by joining the pirate group built by this man, it is simply the cultivation method of the top conquerors hockey that does not need to be said. Again, there are too many ghosts. Quote. Baloric shook his head without hesitation and said, "I'm not interested. What you give is inherited from our family." Quote. Alan was stunned, looked at Baloric and thought for a while, and found that it was really similar. Baloric was a rule at first glance. If such a high-level conqueror's hockey's cultivation method has been inherited, it seems that it should be. Oh ha ha ha. Rocks laughed proudly and said, "Baloric, Laozi knows the problems of your Redfield family, too. The devil fruit that can heal your Redfield family is in Laozi's hands." What? Baloric, who has always maintained aristocratic elegance, suddenly widened his eyes filled with disbelief. How is this possible? Did Baloric really dream that he never imagined that the devil fruit would be in the hands of Rocks? To know, the Redfield family has some problems, and the origin of these problems is naturally impossible to tell, but this problem also makes the entire Redfield family rarely appear above the sea. After all, there is a problem with their bodies, and this problem can only be cured by a devil fruit. Baloric has been looking for it all the time, but it is in the hands of Rocks. P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. The third one. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge, event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 19. Reaching the Treasure Land, Silver Axe Pirates. Rox left. Same. Alan and Newgate also left. Only Baroric, the arrogant nobleman, also chose to join the Rox pirate. Again, Rox has so much to offer, it's impossible to refuse. Big brother. Newgate asked curiously, why did you choose to join the Rox pirate? Alan said very calmly, what's strange, it's for the high-level conqueror's hockey, and joining the Rox pirate, according to Captain Rock's character, if nothing else, the entire pirate group is a monster. Humph. The corners of his mouth grinned. Alan's killing intent was very terrifying. Since they were all monsters, the increase in his own strength would be very terrifying. Newgate nodded clearly, indeed. This is also the character of his elder brother. But, Newgate pondered for a moment and said, Big brother. There are some other things, according to Baroric's character, he actually chose to join the Rox pirate. Alan said casually. Who knows what the situation is, maybe. It's a purely personal issue. Anyway, these have nothing to do with us, everyone. Speed up. Yes. Following Alan's orders, the speed of the pirate ship is also getting faster and faster. And Alan squinted his eyes secretly, thinking in his heart, sure enough. Baroric was caught in impel down, and it has something to do with this, but it's really unclear what it is. Let's talk about it in the future, it will be clear sooner or later. 7 days later, the pirate ship has come to an island in the New World. Big brother. Big brother. Neil shouted loudly. This is the island. According to the information, the location of Kong Yunchi is this island. Alan nodded, then stood up on the reclining chair and looked at the island in front of him. The appearance of the familiar island is basically the appearance of a small island, and it is basically a very familiar island in this new world. Wow. This time, with the churning sound from the waves, a huge pirate ship emerged. Alan raised the corner of his mouth interestingly, and said, Newgate, it looks like someone has come to grab something from us. Newgate also turned his head slowly, and there was a terrifying killing intent in his eyes, especially when he just finished his daily training, his body exuded a terrible aura. Soon, the pirate ship has already docked, and Neil leaned over and said, Two big brothers, this is the Silver Axe pirate group, although it has only been out for 5 years, but its strength is quite terrifying, Captain. It's the Silver Knight Silver Axe, and the strength is quite terrifying. The other party's age should be about the same as your two big brothers. The Silver Axe pirates have grown rapidly in the past 5 years. Now, it is estimated that they are also a top pirate group. Silver Axe Pirates. Alan narrowed his eyes and said interestingly, it turned out to be this guy, Silver Axe. Well, Laozi also wanted to see how powerful Silver Axe was. Silver Knight Silver Axe. The famous pirate of New World has only been out of the sea for 5 years, and is only about 20 years old. He has become one of the top powerhouses, and there is no doubt about his strength. It can be said without any hesitation, the strength of Silver Axe, no matter who it is, will definitely give a thumbs up. From here, we can see how strong Silver Axe is. But although the strength of Silver Axe is very strong, it definitely does not reach the level of invincibility, and although the Silver Axe pirates are very strong, but to put it bluntly, Alan and the Newgate brothers don't take it seriously at all. Let's go. The two brothers jumped down and walked towards the opposite side. And the same figure jumped down from this pirate ship. Dressed in heavy silver knight armor and holding an already huge giant axe, he also jumped down. In terms of height, the difference is only about 5 meters in height. He is tall and looks very terrifying. Subsequently, one by one, he has left the pirate ship following the shadows. The entire Silver Axe pirates have landed. Ha ha ha. Alan said interestingly, Silver Axe. Laozi saw you for the first time, but you actually came here. If nothing else, you also got the treasure map, right? Alan. Newgate. Brother Edward. Silver Axe's eyes were sharp, and he said grimly, you are very kind. You dare to shoot at Laozi's people. Do you want to die? With this terrifying killing intent, a terrifying light burst out from Silver Axe's eyes, and a terrifying conqueror's hockey burst out instantly. Boom. Crackling. Next moment, the 3-person conqueror's hockey hedged, and the Silver Axe was directly suppressed. If it is 1-on-1, it may be that the gap is huge, but 2-to-1. It's definitely not a problem to play with the Silver Axe hanging. It is also a member of the Rox pirate in the original book, at the age of 19 or 20. Silver Axe, Newgate, Shiki, Akoku, John, Linlin, and many more. The strength of these monsters is actually not that big. They have already reached the terrifying strength of this age. The reason for the gap in strength in the future is that as the age continues to grow, it has entered the second period of rapid growth. Gaps and differences. Otherwise, how can there be so many differences and differences? At this point in time, it is not so easy to see the gaps and differences. As for some future kid, Alan can only say that people and protagonists who are not people are incomparable. Ha ha ha. As if he had guessed it for a long time, Alan moved his muscles a little and said cruelly, Laozi guessed that the 3 wastes of gold, silver and copper are your subordinates. Exactly. Come, let Laozi see your strength. What, otherwise? Wouldn't it be like high? P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. 4th more. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 20. Allenby's Silver Axe Pirates. When I saw Silver Axe, Alan just guessed it. If nothing else, the three guys in gold, silver and bronze are Silver Axe's younger brothers. Even though the three gold, silver and bronze brothers, who have been in the sea for so many years, turned out to be the younger brother of Silver Axe, which makes people feel very strange. But, above the sea, the strong are respected. As long as they are strong, it is not surprising what happens. He, Silver Axe said indifferently. It's really arrogant. It seems. Just killing 3 of Laozi's rubbish, it makes you feel that you are very powerful. You don't think you are invincible, do you? Really are. A lot of nonsense. Alan shook his head boredly, hooked his finger at Silver Axe and said, don't talk too much. If you have any questions, just do it. Come, Laozi is here waiting for you. Humph. The corners of his mouth grinned and he licked his lips, and Alan sarcastically said, so, you wouldn't dare to shoot, would you? If that's the case, it would be really boring. Asshole. Court death. Silver Axe scolded angrily and said, little ones. Take this bastard's head off for Laozi. Yes. Big brother Silver Axe. A large number of pirates immediately stared at Alan, with sarcastic smiles in their eyes. Boy, you should feel regret that you dared to provoke our Silver Axe pirates. It's really courting death. Just kill you. He. Everyone was smiling cruelly. One by one, the pirates came straight to Alan. Newgate holds a Naginata sword and is ready to do it, but. Alan raised a hand to stop Newgate, and Wei said, Stinky boy, go and find Kong Yuncho. If you don't talk about it, Laozi would like to see Silver Axe pirates. Isn't it that strong? A terrifying killing intent emerged, but Alan wanted to see Silver Axe's strength. Arrogant. Okay. However, you had better have the strength corresponding to arrogance. If you don't have the corresponding strength, you will die very miserably. Attack. Roar. Facing the attacking pirates, Alan opened his mouth, and a roaring shock wave instantly penetrated. Boom. A small mushroom cloud rose directly, and in an instant, a large number of pirates were directly thrown away, and Alan followed closely. His arms were burning with flames, and he directly rushed into all the Silver Axes like a tiger entering a flock. Among the pirates. Snapped. Alan grabbed a pirate's head directly with one hand, and crushed the other's head with one hand under the terrified gaze of the other party. Who's next? A terrifying laser light erupted in his eyes, directly penetrating a large number of pirates. It can be said, Alan is a one-sided slaughter. These pirates are not opponents at all, even those at the cadre level. It's just a bunch of rubbish. That's the way it is. You don't need to pay attention to it at all. Do you need to pay too much attention to these rubbish? Just like a joke. After all, the two sides are not on the same level from beginning to end. At least for Alan, it was a one-sided massacre. Asshole. Silver Axe has clenched the giant axe in his hand in anger, watching everything in front of him. His anger is burning uncontrollably. It is too annoying. This guy's strength is so strong. These people under his hands are not opponents. Death to Laozi. Silver Axe was holding a huge silver axe and had already come straight to Alan. The silver axe in his hand had instantly burst into a terrifying wave, and a huge slash burst out instantly. Snapped. An astonishing scene appeared. Alan actually caught Silver Axe's slash with one hand. Click. Next moment, Alan directly crushed Silver Axe's slash, and said disdainfully, is that so? For a guy like you, Laozi doesn't need to be in the eye. That is, the 3 wastes of gold, silver and copper will be your subordinates, right? Although it is said so. But, Alan doesn't have any slack at all. Is Silver Axe weak? Not weak at all. Silver Axe's strength is extremely strong. Even after the 3 people of gold, silver and bronze are merged, it is probably the same thing. And the current Silver Axe is almost half a kilogram compared to Newgate, and the strength of the two is not bad. Newgate is inferior to Alan, and so is Silver Axe. Of course, strength has something to do with age, but it doesn't matter. Don't look at Alan, Newgate, Baloric, Silver Axe and others. They are all 18 or 19, 20 years old. In fact, they have grown to one level of terror. Above this sea are all strong people, or that sentence. Don't think that everyone is a monster like the main characters like Luffy, Kid, and Luo, and don't think that everyone is a monster like Newgate and Silver Axe. Such monsters are the most terrifying, amazing strength. Even at a young age, he has a very high status on this sea. Asshole. Silver Axe's anger is burning wildly. In the 5 years he has gone to sea, it can be said that he has grown into a great pirate smoothly. It can be said that he has never encountered such a thing at all. Damn it. Someone dared to come to trouble. Death to Laozi. Edward Allen. Today, Laozi will let you know what a big mistake you have made to provoke Laozi. With a terrifying light flashing in his eyes, Silver Axe jumped up and slashed down with a slash like a mountain of Washin. This kind of power can be said to be very terrifying. You are welcome to say. In the face of a power player like Silver Axe, coupled with that amazing power, most people would not dare to try this blow, after all. If you are not careful, it is estimated that it will be divided into two. But, Alan is no ordinary person. P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. 5th. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 21. Kong Cloud Cut. The two brothers swept the Silver Axe Pirates. Snapped. Snapped. Newgate walked into the depths of the island, holding the treasure map, and looking around at everything. It should be here. Newgate stopped, observed everything around him, and after a little thought, he suddenly stepped on it. Click. Click. The ground collapsed instantly, and a deep pit emerged. Newgate said secretly, "It really is here." Talking. Newgate took a deep jump and jumped straight down. As he continued to go deep into the pit, Newgate saw a large number of gold and silver treasures located in the deep pit, and the most conspicuous position among the treasures, that one. Handle. ... Boom. Really? F***K. How is it possible? Real or fake? Everyone's eyes widened in disbelief. Everyone in the Silver Axe Pirates is full of dazed expressions. Please. I can't imagine it at all. Okay, the anger of the boss of his own family was blocked like this. It's like a joke. They just can't believe it. Everyone is full of shock. But, at the same time of shock, all this is so natural. Humph. Alan crossed his arms and attached to the terrifying armament hockey, and even directly grabbed Silver Axe's blow. The corners of his mouth grinned, his 10 fingers exerted a little strength, his veins burst out, and he said hideously, "That's why. Ha ha ha, it's too weak. Too weak." Roar. Alan followed with a roar, and when he opened his mouth, a terrifying shock wave burst out instantly. Silver Axe immediately stepped back, extremely fast, while Alan jumped up without hesitation, interlaced his hands, and an astonishing attack burst out immediately. Crackling. Facing Alan, this is like a lightning-like intertwining of fists and feet. What skills? What technology? Don't make trouble. Alan is not good at these things at all. All along, Alan has cultivated the purest fighting style. Hit hard. Where it hurts, Laozi's attack will fall in that position, you don't doubt. Laozi will not have any mercy. This is Alan's character all along. It's absolutely terrifying and ruthless. Therefore, in the face of Alan's terrifying offensive, Silver Axe felt a little uncomfortable. Silver Axe was completely suppressed by Alan throughout the battle. Go on. You guys. What are you thinking about? Yes. With the roar of Silver Axe, other pirates also roared and joined the battlefield immediately. Don't underestimate them. These guys are Silver Axe's subordinates, but the overall strength is also strong enough. If one is not careful. But will die. Alan frowned slightly, but then grinned, completely ignoring what they meant, still attacking Silver Axe. Hey, assholes. Stop Laozi. With this roar, a tall figure fell from top to bottom, holding a huge naginata sword, which fell directly from top to bottom. Brush. The terrifying slash directly shattered everything, and a large number of pirates fell directly under this blow. Bump. The ground was directly smashed, and Newgate held a huge naginata in his hand and said proudly, "Hey. What are you guys doing?" Dragon Blast. Silver Great Axe. Alan and Silver Axe are instantly separated. Alan retreated to Newgate's side, looked at the Bing naginata, and said with a smile, "Is it Kong Yunchi?" What? Goo la la la. Newgate smiled happily. Brother. This Bing is Kong Yunchi, it's really a completely different feeling. Holding Kong Yunchi, Newgate can really feel it. When he really holds the supreme sword, he will know how huge the gap is from ordinary weapons. It is almost no exaggeration. When Mahawk taught Zoro, he said that any weapon can be turned into a black knife. But there is a problem. Since black knives can be practiced, what do you think is the essence of black knives? Actually, it's almost the same thing as enchantment. Do you think level 10 white equipment can be enchanted the same as level 100 mythic equipment? As long as this is not an idiot, you don't have to think about it, you know what's going on, otherwise. You don't have to look for famous knives anymore, all are black knives, and you're done with direct practice. It's very simple. It can be said, this is the biggest difference, the foundation is different, and the power it exerts is completely different. Humph. Nice. Alan glanced at it with a smile, nodded and said, okay. If that's the case, then there's no need to be polite. Brother Edward. The two brothers looked at each other's opponents, and the corners of their mouths invariably grinned grimly. Asshole. Silver Axe roared and roared. Kill these two guys for Laozi, just two people. Is it the opponent of our Silver Axe Pirates? In all directions, nearly 500 or 600 pirates have surrounded them, and everyone has a terrifying killing intent in their eyes. This is almost everyone in the entire Silver Axe Pirate group. Looks like, it's not bad. Kill these guys. Alan and Newgate looked at each other, and a murderous intent appeared in their eyes. Following that, the two brothers shot at the same time, rushing directly into the Silver Axe Pirates like two sharp blades. Among For this pair of brothers, they don't care how many people the other party is. The reason is very simple. Since the pair of brothers went to sea, the pair of brothers have never relied on any subordinates, standing beside them. A man has only his own brothers. Right now, this pair of brothers is like a tiger entering a flock of sheep, completely swept away by the Silver Axe Pirates, mere rubbish. P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. 6th. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. P.S. Brothers 3,000 flowers plus more. There are still 1,000 flowers before the next flower update. Kneeling and begging brothers for flowers support. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 22. It's not big. Running very fast. Bump. Alan, you bastard. Holding a Silver Axe let out an angry roar. Raising one hand to block Silver Axe's attack, Alan grinned and said, Silver Axe, your strength is really weak. Laozi didn't expect that your strength is so weak. The big brother behind the gold, silver and bronze pirates. Quote. Silver Axe glared, his eyes filled with terrifying rage. During the battle, Silver Axe could clearly feel that he was being suppressed by Alan everywhere, and he was unable to gain the upper hand from the beginning to the end. This made Silver Axe unacceptable, and his anger was burning like crazy. Actually, in this world, many geniuses will end up having problems because of various blows, including the strong. Crocodile, Moria, one can tie bullet and one can fight Kaido. The end result. Because of the problem of mentality, the result was completely abolished by the blow. Including Zephyr. First his wife and son died, and then his most important disciple also died. Needless to say, Zephyr was completely abolished. And the same goes for the Silver Axe. His strength is very strong, he is young, and he has always been a gifted monster since he went to sea. But, now that I met this guy Alan, he completely suppressed himself in every aspect, which made Silver Axe really unacceptable. Die. Boring. The battle between the two was still extremely fierce. The other side. Newgate was a real unilateral massacre. The opponent was not Newgate's opponent at all. The entire Silver Axe pirate group was basically defeated one by one, and it was not at the same level from beginning to end. After all, in the face of a strong man like Newgate, it is really not comparable in terms of numbers. If there is no corresponding strong man, then there is no doubt that he will lose. Big brother. Retreat. Yes, retreat. Listening to the pirate's words, Alan grinned. Dragon blast. The electric eye burst. The terrifying shock wave penetrated in an instant, and most of the pirate ships of the entire Silver Axe Pirates were penetrated in an instant. Although there was no silence, it was impossible to sail at all. And Newgate held Kong Yunchi, as if possessed by the god of war, that was to beat the entire Silver Axe pirate group on the ground. The two sides were not on the same level, there was really no comparison. Bastard. Hateful. The anger was burning wildly, and when Silver Axe saw this scene, his whole body became furious. But, however, Silver Axe also knew that if it continued, then the result would be that there was no need to say more, and the battle was over here. As long as Newgate takes care of the Silver Axe Pirates, all that's left is Silver Axe. 1 against 2. Then Silver Axe is absolutely certain to die. What's more, he is not Alan's opponent at all. At most Alan can defeat Silver Axe with some time. Big brother. Retreat. At this moment, a man hugged Silver Axe directly, and suddenly a huge hole appeared under his feet. Holding Silver Axe, he rushed into it. Most of the Silver Axe Pirates also fought together. Retreat. Finally, about 100 people ran away. Alan and Newgate didn't pursue them. With this special fruit ability, it was impossible to catch up. To be honest, for a powerhouse of the same level, if someone just wanted to escape, it would be almost impossible to catch up. The most famous one is Shiki. Lion Fruit is almost invincible when he escapes. Why was Garp and Sengoku dunked on the ground and thrown into impel down? Can only say, this guy just has a bag in his head. Cut. It's not a big deal, but it runs very fast. Newgate carried Kong Yunchi with a very confident look. He. Alan smiled casually. Stinky boy, your Kong Yunchi looks good, doesn't it? Goo la la la. Newgate gave a thumbs up and said with a big smile, brother. It's pretty easy, there's absolutely no problem. That's fine. Alan nodded and said, Neil, arrange for someone to remove all the treasures of the Silver Axe Pirates for me. Okay, big brother. Neil nodded immediately. Newgate said, right, go to the place where the treasure is hidden, and there are also a lot of gold and silver treasures in it. No problem. Big Newgate. Neil immediately arranged for someone to act. Alan rubbed his chin, lit a cigarette from his pocket, and said while puffing the clouds, however, I didn't expect that the Silver Axe Pirates would have such a space-type capable person, so they directly left. The ability just now is definitely a space-type ability person, and he ran away directly, otherwise. How can it be so fast? It's not a big problem. Newgate shrugged and said, big brother. A person as arrogant as Silver Axe, after this failure, he probably couldn't stand it anymore. Under such circumstances, even if he escaped, he would be useless. Alan asked, What if Silver Axe held on to this blow? Newgate asked directly. Brother, do you still think you can't beat Silver Axe? Stinky boy. Goo la la la. Alan couldn't help laughing and scolding, while Newgate laughed. For a while, the two brothers laughed loudly, waiting for Neil to bring the treasure of the treasure map and the treasure of the Silver Axe Pirates, are taken away. Anyway, this time, it is estimated that he made a good profit. Although devil fruit may not be much, it is not a problem to have enough gold and silver treasures. This is also the future, and the development of his own family also needs a lot of gold and silver treasures. Alan and Newgate intend to build a ship that resounds all over the world and create a pirate group that is invincible in the world. P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. The 1st. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 23. Alan's research, development of spells. A large amount of gold and silver treasures were moved to the ship. Alan and the others then left. Next. Go directly to Hachinosu. Anyway, Newgate rubbed his chin and said, Brother, I didn't expect that Hachinosu's pirates gathered because of Captain Rock's. Alan nodded and said, I really didn't expect this situation, but it doesn't matter, I'm more concerned about who will join the Rock's pirate. Humph. A smile appeared, and Alan was very interested. Joke. For his own reasons, it has now changed, and Beloric has joined the Rock's pirate. So, will there be other problems? In fact, it is self-evident. After all, a butterfly has already flapped its wings, so the impact must be huge. In the room, Alan sat cross-legged on the bed, thinking about something. Cow spell, dragon charm, sheep talisman, pig charm. Alan pondered the power of the 4 spells. Seriously, the power of the spell has always felt that it has not really been developed at all, and even said that most of the power has not been developed. Strength. The bull talisman represents infinite power. Does that mean that this power can also be used in other ways? Alan is researching the possibility of this. All the time. Alan is like that. As a traveler, and, in my previous life, I lived in an era where information was very explosive, and there were a lot of brain holes, so. Of course it can be researched. Thinking about how to use the cow charm. But, Alan is also a daring artist. Since he has thought of it, let's try it out. Anyway, I'm thinking about it, just come and try it out. Alan stood up and walked directly out of the room. It was already dark outside. Alan walked to the deck and then took a shell from the side. Normally, the power of the bull charm is that I use the power, not. Try it. Alan pondered the power of the cow charm, but it seemed that the divine power of the charm was intended to be injected into the cannonball, just. The palm holding the cannonball only moved his fingers slightly. Bump. It exploded the next moment. No way. How terrifying is the power of the bull charm? Even if it is only used slightly, there is no need to say much, the violent power is detonated in an instant. Alan threw up, and although he wasn't injured, he also made a mouthful of ashes. After vomiting, Alan continued to study and whispered, It seems that there is no problem, study it carefully and be careful. Alan began to study carefully. But, the result is. Boom, boom. The shells exploded one after another. To be honest, Alan's strength is strong enough, and his defense is also amazing enough, otherwise. Just like this explosion, accidentally sent a person away. Finally, the night had passed, and in the eyes of everyone who was very surprised, Alan finally caught the cannonball in his hand. Did you make it? Go ahead and try it out. Alan pondered this situation, but was somewhat uncertain. How can I say it? It's a bit weird to fail so much. Thought here. Alan threw the cannonball in his hand very gently. Boom. The next moment, a terrifying mushroom cloud rose up directly, and the monstrous mushroom cloud seemed to devour everything. Quote. Alan remained silent. If it was normal, the shells would definitely not have such power, just. The power that erupted at this moment is definitely dozens of times, hundreds of times more powerful than the original shell. Success. Alan rubbed his chin, thinking and muttering, Let's look at it now. Through this method, it is indeed possible to inject the divine power of the cow talisman into other objects, such as cannonballs, and the power continues. Improve, but if. Alan is also thinking about not using such a fighting method himself. And, this seems like a pointless thing. After half a day. Alan studied and muttered. So, does this mean that Laozi studied for such a day, and the direction he came up with was actually completely deviated? The corners of his mouth twitched slightly, and Alan didn't want to think so much, so he turned around and went back to the room. Whatever it is, I have already proved that the magical power of the spell is not just the way it is simply exerted, but there are other ways to use it. Even though, the development of this cow talisman made me feel like it was purely cerebral palsy. Other than that, Alan went back to the room and continued to research, not to mention the dragon charm and pig charm. The power is very simple, more is to develop how to use it, how to better control this force uncontrollable power. Other than that, in fact, it is not very big in nature, it is mainly a sheep talisman. Among the 12 spells, cow, rabbit, chicken, dragon, snake, horse, monkey, dog, pig, these spells are actually very easy to use, and the abilities are simple and understandable. Basically, you can do it as long as you are not an idiot. Learn and develop. Can. Rat spell, tiger spell, sheep spell. The use of these 3 spells is the most troublesome. The power of the sheep talisman is actually the power of the soul. In addition to the soul out of the body, it can also be used to directly attack the opponent's soul. In other words, is it attacking the opponent's spirit? So, can I use it to elevate my soul? Alan narrowed his eyes, thinking about something. P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. Second more. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 24. Hachinosu. An island where pirates gather. Hachinosu. In New World, this island is called Pirate Island, but it's just a name. After all, for pirates, these arrogant guys, even crazy guys, it's just a joke that you want them to live peacefully together. So, all the time, although Hachinosu is called Pirate Island, it is just a title. But no, why is Hachinosu called Pirate Island? In fact, the fundamental reason is that in the center of Hachinosu Island, there is a huge, iconic, naturally formed stone carving that looks like a skull. This makes all pirates feel interesting, so Hachinosu is called Pirate Island. Only, this time today, however, there are a large number of pirates, gathered from all directions. Wow. As the waves churned, Alan stood on the bow of the boat with his hands in his pockets, and a wisp of blue smoke was exhaled, and said interestingly, "Stinky boy, this Hachinosu, it's rare to see so many people. Even though, haven't arrived at Hachinosu yet. But Alan saw that around Hachinosu, there were at least dozens, or even hundreds, of pirate ships gathered. Goo la la la. Newgate laughed proudly. Brother. Isn't that what you said? After all, this time the incident was quite a big deal, although I don't know if Captain Rocks invited others. But, Newgate looked into the distance interestingly, and said with a smile, this is a very interesting place, after all. The news has spread, but Hachinosu has a very big thing coming together here. Indeed. For guys like pirates who like to watch the fun, that is indeed an unquestionable thing. Alan agrees with this. Not kidding. Pirates are a group of guys who like to watch the fun and join in the fun. Knowing that there is a lot of fun in Hachinosu, of course they ran over to watch the fun. As for what will happen next? To be honest, if there is no powerful monster, according to the characters of Hachinosu, it is easy to fight directly, and it is the kind of fight that will not show mercy, and directly punch out the dog's brain. Woo! A wisp of blue smoke was exhaled, and Alan narrowed his eyes slightly, in an instant. The terrifying observation hockey didn't know how many times it expanded, but it spread directly toward the entire Hachinosu, covering the entire Hachinosu in an instant. There are about 150,000 people in Hachinosu now. Besides, it's probably the same in terms of strength. It's all rubbish. The real big man hasn't appeared yet. After taking back observation hockey, Alan didn't pay attention directly. He was not interested in garbage at all, not to mention that for these things, no matter the quantity, it was meaningless. Can ants beat elephants? Can. As long as there are enough ants to wipe out the elephants, even a strong man like Roger can be defeated, but Shiki, Newgate, Kaido, such a strong man can never be defeated by ants. Because they are either the owner's devastating devil fruit, or the owner's invincible resilience, and Alan has both. For Alan, if there is no equal opponent, no matter how many ants there is actually no point. Meaningful things. System. Open the properties panel. Name. Edward Allen. Template. Demon of Fire Holy Lord 40%. Magic. The magic of fire. 12 charms. Bull charm, sheep charm, dragon charm, pig charm. Ghost mask. Inactive. 8 demons. Not activated. 9 ghosts general. Inactive. Hockey. Conqueror's Hockey, Intermediate, Armament Hockey, Intermediate, Observation Hockey, Advanced. Alan looked at his panel, and after activating the cow charm, he only increased the completeness of the template from 35% to 40%. To be honest, I think this is quite strange. But, it's understandable if you think about it a little. For the Holy Master, in fact, the most important are 3 spells, the rat spell, the tiger spell and the dog spell. The rat spell represents the origin of life, and the tiger spell represents the balance of yin and yang, which can balance the power of the 12 spells. The dog talisman represents immortality and immortality. This is the largest proportion of the 12 spells. So, the 4 spells plus the magic energy of fire only accounted for 40%. Alan said that he was very calm. If nothing else, these 3 spells, according to Alan's calculation, probably accounted for 30% of the total, or higher. But, it doesn't matter, the total is 100%. It can be gathered sooner or later, so don't worry. Alan is really not in a hurry at all, other than that, actually. The biggest change is that his observation hockey has been upgraded from an intermediate level to an advanced level. More than that, normally, in general, good people at observation hockey, like an older generation like Rayleigh, can swipe straight across the island, but Alan can do it now, because of the power of the sheep charm. Alan researched and found that since the sheep charm can cause damage to the soul, can it improve the soul? It turns out, it is indeed possible, and the manifestation is the embodiment of observation hockey, which can observe more, the scope is larger, and the effect is better. In general, Alan's observation hockey has been enhanced by the plus version, and observation hockey has reached a considerable height. Big brother, it's about to dock. Alan nodded calmly, then exhaled a puff of smoke, with a smile on the corner of his mouth, and said, it's really interesting. The era of rocks is coming, what will it feel like next? To be interesting. P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. The third one. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th, Chapter 25. The new generation of monsters, gather. Wow. The pirate ship slowly landed and landed. After landing, Alan said, Neil, follow the place Laozi told you at first, just go where you want, and when the things here are settled, Laozi will find you. Okay, big brother. Neil nodded immediately, and then left. As for whether Neil would betray. Stop it, sailing on this sea, if you don't even have such a little confidence, then it's better to die. Ha ha ha, oh who, here comes, F*K, how did these two monsters come here? Brother Edward. The original pirates were still watching the fun one by one, but after seeing who the people who came, they all became as if they were blown away. I never imagined that it would be Brother Edward. This is a pair of monster brothers. Brother Edward, in the past 8 years, he has made a name for himself, not only that. It also destroyed one of the top pirate groups like the Gold, Silver and Bronze Pirates, and the powerful Silver Axe Pirates, who had been out for 5 years, were almost wiped out. This is simply unbelievably powerful. Newgate looked around and said, Brother. It seems that these people seem to welcome us. Goo la la la. Talking, Newgate couldn't help but laugh. Alan joked. Yeah, they do seem to welcome us, let's go, wait inside, Captain Rocks, it's almost time. No problem. The two brothers were just about to leave. At this time, the atmosphere suddenly became eerie. Alan and Newgate also had a smile on the corners of their mouths. The two turned their heads and looked at the pirate ship that was galloping. The one standing on the bow was the silver axe clenched in his hand, full of killing the desired silver axe. Brother Edward. Silver Axe's teeth were really itching with anger, but he didn't act rashly at this moment. With his own strength, he was no match for these two. But Silver Axe knew that those who could come to Hachinosu couldn't be watching the fun. In other words, Silver Axe seemed to have guessed something. In the end, he just stood indifferently at the bow of the boat. As the boat docked, in the eyes of everyone watching the excitement, Silver Axe didn't even have the idea of making a move, just as if I didn't see the two alike. Just turned around and left. Ha ha ha, goo la la la. Both Alan and Newgate couldn't help laughing, and listening to the two's laughter, Silver Axe's teeth were really itchy. But he is not an idiot, he is very clear that he is definitely not the opponent of this Edward brother. And Silver Axe knew that it was absolutely impossible to shoot today. It's boring. Alan boredly looked at Silver Axe who was leaving, and said casually, it seems that this guy Silver Axe was also invited, forget it. Newgate, let's go, let's keep going too. No problem. Big brother. Newgate held the cloud cut, and the two brothers also walked towards the depths of Hachinosu. Be good. What's up? Ghost knows. With the departure of the three people, these pirates began to discuss. They dreamed and did not expect that this would be the case. It's like a dream, are these people so ruthless? Besides, is that Kong Yunchi, one of the 12 workers of the Supreme Sword? It should be. Although I heard that Kong Yunchi fell into Newgate's hands, I thought it was a joke, but I didn't expect it to be true. It's terrifying. Everyone was discussing these issues one by one, and couldn't help but sigh that it was too terrifying. The arrival of Alan, Newgate, and Silver Axe. Or. This is just the beginning, not the end at all. Who is that? As the pirate ship tossed, a ship came galloping. F*K, Charlotte Linlin. Why is this crazy woman here? I do not know. Everyone was full of disbelief, looking at this woman with pink hair and a perfect figure who slowly landed, but she was full of crazy women. Charlotte Linlin. Long bread. The captain and vice captain of the Big Mom Pirates. Both are two monsters resounding through the sea. Of course, compared to Linlin, Long bread is the same thing. In the new world, Linlin is one of the monsters of this new generation. This new generation of monsters is actually a title similar to that of the future evil generation, a group of good people, and finally formed such a title. In essence, it is probably the same thing. And Alan, Newgate, Silver Axe, Linlin, etc. are all teens who are in this title. They are collectively referred to as the monsters of the new generation, and they are regarded as the characters who will take over the entire sea next. Coming. It's still one of the new generation monsters. Captain of the Five Peaks Pirates, Akoku. Captain of the John Pirates, John. Be good. They're all terrifying monsters. As time went by, the arrival of one-by-one monsters shocked everyone, except for Edward brothers, Linlin, Akoku, John, and Silver Axe. In fact, more than 30 other powerful pirates have also arrived. But, compared to the average age of 18 or 19, even Linlin, who is only 13 years old. Other people, those guys are all over 20 years old, and they are definitely incomparable with these shocking monsters. But, this also shocked everyone, and some of the people hiding in Hachinosu dripped a drop of sweat and said secretly, "What the hell is going on? Why are these guys gathered in Hachinosu?" Quote. P.S. New book upload. Daily 5. 4th more. Ask the brothers for a wave of collections. Celebrating the 7-day National Day holiday and reading books. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediately rush to recharge. Event time. October 1st to October 7th.